How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, Trump went to China, and the visit was very interesting. Very interesting indeed. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we got to talk about not just this dude, Chud The Builder, but rage bait streamers in your space, in Walmart, acting the fool, getting on your nerves, starting stuff. We're talking about all those kind of streamers. Hey, if you get caught doing that, you need to get sent to El Salvador. If somebody get hurt by you trying to rage bait stream, you need to get sent to El Salvador immediately. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Spencer Pratt. I don't like what he did with the Airstream situation. I don't like it, but a lot of people still like him. I like him. I think he is better than Karen Bass, but some may not feel that way out there, especially on the left coast, California, where they want you to be the same as them. That's the blue kingdom, to try and get anybody that's anywhere near red in office out there is going to be a monumental task, especially when there's little tricky stuff like that going on. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, James Talarico, do you guys think he has a girlfriend? Come on, some. Oh yeah, I've been with her a long time. Oh, so she don't go here, huh? She don't go to this school. We've not seen her. She's a mystery. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. I apologize for not being here on Wednesday. But Wednesday, I feel like I didn't have enough for a show. I was like, man, do I have enough? I ain't really have enough. I ain't want to force it. But I won't do that too often. I apologize for not being here on Wednesday. I got a whole lot right now since I was not here on Wednesday. I got quite a bit right now that I need to discuss. But thank y'all again for being here. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching the Instagram live I had on Tuesday. And thank you guys for watching the replay on the YouTube. Some of you guys, you kind of like that. It's a different kind of stream, so I'll keep doing that for y'all. And I appreciate y'all again for rocking and rolling. We got quite a bit happening here. There is quite a bit happening here. Chud The Builder. I'm going to get straight into Chud because it's on my mind. This is a thing that I can't talk about too much in my regular life. So I'm going to talk about this right now. Chud The Builder. Listen, you can't hide behind free speech and do whatever you want to do. You can't do it. There was an example made on another video I saw. We'll see that a little bit later. Shout out to him. But he's like, okay, you're going to go into a bank and you have a trench coat on in July. It's 85, 90 degrees outside. Humidity through the roof. Like, here's it. I'm going to paint you a picture, right? I'm going to paint you a picture. The picture is, it is July 18th, 2026 in Atlanta, Georgia at high noon, 12 noon. Okay, the sun is sunning. The humidity is on 100. You have on dark glasses, trench coat, a big sombrero, a black sombrero, and you go into a bank talking about I got a bomb and I got a gun. Give me the money right now. Even if you don't get the money, guess what? That's called bank robbery. Oh, nah, freedom of speech. Nah, that ain't what that is. That's called bank robbery. You went in there and made a demand where somebody thought, okay, now he's robbing the bank. You can't just say freedom of speech. It's not just about what you say. You can say certain things. You can say most things. I said in my video, you can say whatever you want. You can't say whatever you want. Obviously, you can't go to a bank. Hey, give me the money. Allahu Akbar. You can't do that. You can't go to movie theater. Fire. You can't do that. But we're talking about just general conversation. If somebody wants to call me the N-word, that's their prerogative. But see, the problem is when you do that in a confrontational way, the specific word you say is irrelevant. People are focused on the N-word. They're focused on racism, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the harassment. What matters is getting into my personal space, attempting to agitate me, and online, you say exactly what you're doing. And online, you say, if somebody gets in my way, if somebody put their hands on me, dead chimp on the sidewalk, and then you shoot somebody, you shoot a black person right there in Tennessee. And you know what? Let me just say this. A lot of y'all on the YouTubes have no idea who that guy is. I've been seeing him because of what I do. I have my ear to the streets, so I know a lot about what's going on, but I ignore them. I ignore all of those streams. I'm not a 19-year-old boy, you know, or young dude in college watching streamers. I'm not watching Kaisenat. I'm not watching iShowSpeed. I'm not watching these young dudes. That's not for me. That's for the young guys. You know what I mean? That's their thing that they doing right now. Okay, these guys are like younger. I got nieces, nephews they're younger than them. These are like people that I would consider to be my children. I'm old enough to be their dad. So I have no interest in what they are consuming. But the problem is you done shot somebody, bro, and you did it in Tennessee where I live. People I know were affected. People I know were covering it. They were following it because it's like right in their backyard. I know people in Clarksville, like this is a little bit too close to home. So now I got to say something. Since you hurt somebody and it happened in Tennessee, that's the thing. If you guys want to do your low IQ, ridiculous, mouth breathing entertainment, that's okay. As long as you're not interfering with people, you're not harassing people, you just leave regular people alone. You could be a Nick Fuentes in your basement, okay? But that's much different than going outside and getting in somebody's face and provoking them with whatever words you desire. So the free speech element seems to be a thing people say as a defense for Chud the Builder, for Dalton Etherly, but it has no relevance because he's not being charged with saying words. He's being charged with second-degree murder, reckless endangerment, employing a firearm in commission of a dangerous felony. You getting charged with that, bro. The words you say are irrelevant. All that matters is that you were the agitator. You initiated the conflict for your stream. If you are, let's say, here's what happened with the dude. You are walking out of the corner of your eye. You see somebody pointing and laughing. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If that is you and you are armed, what are you supposed to do? I'm going to say it one more time. You are Chud the Builder. Your name is Dalton. You are walking outside of a courthouse. In the corner of your eye, you see a group of people laughing and pointing. You have a gun on you. What do you do in this situation? B, keep walking, mind your business. Or A, I said it backwards. B, keep walking, mind your business. Or A, go confront them. He chose A. Now, we all know that if you are armed, you have to avoid confrontations. You should avoid confrontations anyway. Listen, if I'm just outside walking, I see somebody pointing and laughing, I'm gonna totally ignore them. The same kind of way I'm gonna ignore a bum on the street. Okay, you talking about something, can I get a quarter? I don't even hear you, bro. I ain't making no eye contact. I'm not gonna say nothing to you. I'm gonna act like I can't see you. That's how I'm gonna treat anybody just out in the street, just talking and pointing and stuff like that. I would never go confront them, and you're not supposed to confront them, especially when you're armed. So by you going to confront them, that is called provocation, especially since you're filming and you're streaming a thing you're known for in Clarksville, a thing you're known for all over the state of Tennessee. Everybody knows you for that. You're the guy who does that. Every night you get into a confrontation. Every night you causing the problem. Every night you causing the issue. Everybody hates you. Black folks, white folks, young folks, old folks, everybody hates you. There's a select few smooth brains online who are entertained by your commentary, by your streams, but those people are so little, they have zero relevance. They have no relevance at all. On YouTube, most people had no idea who this guy was. Nobody knew who he was until he decided to shoot somebody in one of his rage bait streams. So his purported goal was to be captain of free speech and all this and that. Oh, okay. So your idea of promoting free speech is to go harass people and film it for money. That's your idea of promoting free speech. Oh, all right. But again, this has nothing to do with free speech. Just because this idiot jailbird, LGBT, download, don't know what's going on. Okay. Power bottom. Just because he says that it's about free speech does not mean he's right. He thought he had a legitimate claim to shoot that guy, but he does not, because it did not charge the other guy that had them both in custody. Let's be clear. When the fight happened, outside the courthouse. That's why you saw that video, all those police on him. He shot the guy in the courtyard of the courthouse of Montgomery County, Clarksville. It's like, bro, you might as well shot him in front of the police station. It's the same thing. You got all kind of cops just right there waiting for you to do something. They had them both detained at the scene. One got flown, the victim got flown to Nashville, which is an hour drive away from Clarksville, and Chud went straight to a local hospital in Clarksville, Vanderbilt. Shout out to Vanderbilt. They had them both in custody. They let him go. No charges at all. Why? Because they investigated what happened. They saw what happened on the camera, and they concluded that Chud the Builder was the aggressor. He was the one that pulled the gun. And here's something else, though. Here's a new piece of information you might not have heard. So according to the affidavit, there was just a verbal altercation at first, right? It was just verbal. That's just what it was. And during the verbal altercation, Chud blades his body and reaches for his gun in his pocket. This is before any kind of physical altercation happens. So if it's about free speech, then why would you reach for your gun when you're just talking? Like I said, it's not about free speech. It's about you, Mr. Chud, trying to provoke people to get attention, to get people that donate on your streams. And now you done shot somebody and you cheddar bobbed yourself. You shot yourself. And now you're going to prison. Your life is over. Your life is done. You were trying to rustle some money up. You were trying to be Big Willie, going to Nashville, balling out of control. You were trying to do that. But in the process, you done ruined your whole life. 28 years old, and you're not coming home till you get to be well past my age right now. It's a shame. But hey, people warned him. It's related to Chud the Builder. Look, people warned him. Hey, check it out. He got arrested over the weekend in Nashville for skipping out on the tab, $400. And the funny part is people defend him for his defense on that. Let's talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people just don't understand the way society works. This about Chud is not even about Chud. It's about the behavior of some humans in this world and in this country that is antisocial, inappropriate, and they have no idea that they're doing anything wrong. Let me just explain something to you right now. Okay, if you go to a restaurant and you order food, you're on the hook for the bill. Even if it didn't come to you yet and you didn't eat it yet, you still ordered the food. Okay, you sitting there eating the appetizers, so now they're in the back making your entree, and you decide to buck on the whole bill. See, you're wrong. Just because you only were served the appetizers does not mean you didn't order all the food and it wasn't being prepared. Talking about something, and then you're on tape talking about, well, if I'm being kicked out of this restaurant for causing the scene and dropping N-words, I'm not going to pay. You said that on the stream. You're retarded, and that's why you are a jailbird too. You got prior arrests, little ticky-tack stuff you shouldn't get locked up for. Your bill's like $200. It's like, look, if I'm going to be a criminal, I'm going to do something big. I'm not doing no crackhead stuff that costs a $200 bond. I mean, what kind of, that's something you do when you decide to smoke crack for a living. You've pretty much given up on life. Okay, I'm going to just go to jail for no reason. Okay, when I'm driving and I get pulled over, I'm going to cuss a cop out on GP. It could be a simple 35 and a 25. I'm going to cuss a cop, move out for no reason. I'm going to have to get taken out of my car. He got to break my window because I just want to act up. It could have been a warning. It could have just been that. But you so silly, you so retarded, you so antisocial, you want to go to jail for it. And this is the kind of guy that he is. So when you're watching a guy like that, and this is why I say to people, be careful who you are watching, consuming, who you are influenced by, because you may take on their negative and antisocial and unintelligent behavior. But I know you guys on the YouTubes watching me don't watch that kind of stuff. Neither do I. The problem is, although we would like to ignore that kind of behavior, it can impact you. You're just out there minding your business. You're in Home Depot, Lowe's, Wally World, a gas station, the courthouse courtyard. Here comes some dude. Oh, you're tripping out. Tripping out. In the word. Get out of here, N-word. It's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just trying to get my license renewed. Here you are with this camera. I don't know what's going on. You look kind of crazy. You got makeup on your face. You got a line of demarcation that's crazy. You're looking like you're halfway transgender. And we know y'all dangerous. Whenever I see a white male transgender or a guy that's kind of like on the edge, the little transitional period, right? Black folks, you got like a little low cut and you try to get some braids. So you got the low cut and a little ugly stage in the middle between the low cut and the braids. That's how they be, right in the center of their transition. I'm like, okay, that's dangerous. Just like a Muslim, Allahu Akbar. Okay, you got a big beard, crazy eye Muslim. Hey, man, he might be a little bit on the edge. Same thing. You got a white male with the long, pretty hair. He got his little stuff on. He got his little chest hairs out. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening here. I don't want to see you, on the front page of the news in GameStop having the meltdown. I don't want to see that. But I see kind of where it's going. The Fed saw where it was going. So when you were arrested for the tab situation in Nashville, the feds are already right there. The feds talked to you after the Nashville incident, the $400 tab. There is no reason for the feds to be involved in the dining dash. They were involved because they already see where you were going, and they gave you a warning. Hey, you need to stop, because what's going to happen is you're going to get hurt or somebody else is going to get hurt. But the people online who want to see a crash out, who want to see a train wreck, who want to see the drama in real life, they kept egging them on. Go ahead. Keep going. Freedom of speech. Oh, okay. Everybody in his life, everyone around him, everyone who had a brain in their head wanted him to stop, because as much as it's amusing that he has to go to the penitentiary now and become Queen Elizabeth, he has to become Anne Heche. He has to become straight up Meryl Streep. Any kind of female fantasy, he's going to be there in the penitentiary, right? I don't want that for anybody. I would not wish that kind of treatment on my worst enemy, which is why I was trying to warn them. Now, if I wanted him to suffer, if I wanted him to have a miserable life, I would say, go ahead, knock yourself out, because it was only a matter of time before he died or got locked up. And here we are. So there's copycats out there. And I'm going to talk about Carmelo Anthony as well. I'm going to talk about Carmelo because I see some of y'all talking about Carmelo, which is not even the right thing. Matter of fact, I'm talking about him right now. Now, Carmelo Anthony. I saw some of y'all talk about Carmelo Anthony, and I don't know what the comparison is. The only comparison is that Carmelo was approached and harassed the same way that the victim in this case was approached and harassed. Let's talk about it. Carmelo Anthony, what's the situation? It's at a football game or a track meet or something like this. He's in the bleachers where you could just sit wherever, right? It's raining at the time, so he goes under a tent. You got these two big white boys, football players, big, bulked up, running up on him. Get out of my seat. You already know what it was. Don't even act like y'all don't know what it was. Get out of my seat. They were bullying him. He ain't saying stop, please stop bullying me. He's a new kid, probably been bullied before, didn't want to be bullied again. They kept doing it, and then he stabs one person one time, runs away. When they find Carmelo after this, and they tell him what happened, he break down crying. Why? Because he does not want to fight. He's not a fighter, but he wasn't trying to get beat up and bullied by these two big white boys in this new school that he's a new kid at in the rain. That's what happened. People make all kinds of stories talking about, oh, he was hunting them and all kind of stuff. Oh, here's something else. Hey, there's a narrative about Chud talking about the guy had drove from an hour away and was looking for him and was hunting them. And when people say that, I'm like, okay, where'd you read that? On social media? Oh, okay. All right. So you're just believing social media rumors and not really doing any kind of independent research. Just like I've said many times before, don't believe me. Don't believe them on the internet anywhere else. Do your own research. Figure out what happened. Take me for entertainment. Now, obviously, I'm right 99.9% of the time. So you should trust me based upon my track record, but still, don't believe me. And most certainly don't believe internet rumors that you read on Reddit and Twitter and stuff like that, because you could put anything on there. It's like early Wikipedia. You could put anything on there. It's the same thing with social media in general. It's a bunch of false stuff. If you're watching podcasts and you're reading tweets and thinking it's the truth all the time, you're sadly mistaken. Now, Andrew, anybody else that want to say Carmelo, why he's a murderer, please tell me why. Again, in Tennessee and other states, most states in the country, you cannot claim self-defense after you provoke somebody. Some people, what they want to do is provoke people, get them to react, and then once they get hurt, they want to cry victim. Okay, you can't poke the bear and then when the bear do something to you, cry and say that the bear attacked you for no reason. No, it's your fault. In Tennessee, that's in law. the initial aggressor rule is on the books, and I cited it in my video. It's a real law on the books in Tennessee. It says if you are the initial aggressor of a conflict, of a fight, of whatever, you cannot claim self-defense. Again, let's go back to the courtyard with Mr. Chad, Chad the Builder case against himself. He is in the courtyard walking. He sees people laughing and pointing. He goes to approach. That's called provocation right there. Yes, it is. Because if you would have kept on walking, it wouldn't have been no fight. If you would have kept on walking and not approaching them and not saying the N-word and not filming them and not trying to provoke them as you always do for your streams to get money, then there wouldn't have been no fight. You were the initial aggressor. And watch this. When they present all of that to a jury who are not going to know who this guy is at all, because most people don't know who this guy is. Most of y'all don't know who he is. When they present all of that to the jury, it's going to be open and shut. It's going to be open and shut. And the telltale sign that it's going to be open and shut is the fact that the other guy did not get charged, because he did not do anything wrong except for be approached and harassed. And the reason why he got into the fight is because during the verbal altercation, which is supposed to be protected, right? Freedom of speech. Here comes Mr. Chud pulling the gun before any kind of physical altercation happens. What Chud said on his live stream, he's a liar, is that the guy started belling on him. No, they were having an argument, a verbal altercation with no physicality until Chud reaches for his gun, shows it, reaches for it. So what happens? The victim is trying to prevent the gun from being shot at him. And he was somewhat successful, although not all the way, because he got shot. At least he didn't die. And that was the whole point why he did that. That's why he didn't get charged. And that's why Chud got charged. But look, anybody want to do that? Anybody want to do that? You're going to find out. Anybody want to be a copycat and do what Chud did, you're going to find out. You can't do that. And from the beginning, I already knew what it was. From the beginning, when I saw him kind of going around among young people, social media, I already knew what the end was going to be. It was inevitable. It was a matter of time. I mean, you should be thankful that he's not dead, because that could have been the result. You pull a gun and shoot yourself. You could have shot and killed your own self. That would have been crazy. That would have been kind of funny, but it would have been terrible for him. So at least he didn't die. And I hope it's a good lesson for anybody out there who wants to be a copycat. Please don't do it. Hey, please don't do it. Now, anybody want to say I'm wrong about Carmelo, call me later and let's have a discussion. Okay. The keyboard warriors, I see you. And I understand your passion. Call me later about 10:30 or so when I open the phone lines up. Okay. Now, people saying worst take ever. Most of you guys are on my side because you guys are smart. You guys are intelligent. But I got a few stragglers. I got a few nieces and nephews out there, especially the nephews. A lot of you young guys don't really get it. You'll get it soon enough. But a lot of y'all young guys don't understand. And I think people have not really been into real confrontations. They've not really been outside and understand the way the world works. They don't understand the way humans work. People who make laws at a certain point are intelligent and they understand the way human beings work, which is why certain things are on the books and certain things are not. It is not a thing to just say whatever you want, provoke anybody, and then when the fight happens, you get to claim self-defense. It is not a thing to get punched in the face one time, pull your gun, and shoot somebody as a result. That is not a thing. And you're going to find out when you go to court, people think that it should be a thing, but when they're going to go to court, they're going to realize something different because we understand how people are. They try to hide behind certain laws to do certain things, to literally throw a stone and hide your hand. You threw a stone. Oh, well, I got freedom of speech. It's called hiding your hand. The freedom of speech is hiding your hand. You threw the stone, though. Regardless of what you said when you threw the stone. If you throw a stone and you say the N-word, or you throw the stone and say apple juice and hot dogs, it don't matter. The act that matters is throwing the stone, not what you said when you did it. You can't just say something and say that's protected, so the action I take while I say a thing is also protected. That's not the way that works. But you're going to learn, though. Anybody that don't know is going to learn. Okay. NKM says Carmelo's trial is next month. He broke the law in Texas. He's not going to be found not guilty. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see, but ultimately, we all know what happened there. We all know what happened there. You can't provoke people and expect nothing to happen. That's not the way that it works. Discard your freedom of speech argument when it comes to confrontations you initiate. As simple as that. Okay. Five Tuffy says, AB Anthony, you just said they were provoking Chuck from across the street. No. Okay. So, okay, here's a great comment. Five Tuffy says, Anthony, you just said they were provoking Chud from across the street. That makes them the initial aggressors. That's not how that works. You're allowed to say things. You're allowed to say words. Just saying words is not the initial aggression. You see, you're not listening. Probably a young dude, 24 years old or something like that, watching me. Listen to what I'm saying, youngin. You can say whatever you like within certain contexts. If you're just saying offensive things, that's not being the initial aggressor. Being the initial aggressor is coming to somebody's space and starting a physical altercation. There can be no physical altercation from just saying words. I'm over here talking, you over there talking. That's just called talking. That's just called communicating. I can be offended. You can be offended. It's okay. That is not being the initial aggressor in the fight. If I'm standing here talking, you standing there talking, and you come to me, you are the initial aggressor because you initiated the physical contact. The talking is not part of the initial aggression. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, it better, because that's the way the law is. The law says that, not ABL. Hey, not ABL. That's what the law says. Talking, just talking, N-word. Okay, that's protected. Ain't nobody going to jail for just saying that, for the most part. Unless you were in the workplace, it's a whole different story. And even then, it's probably going to be a civil suit. But ain't nobody going to jail for just talking. But when you go to doing that, that's when you got the issue. And that's why I've been saying, don't be focused on the speech thing. Focus on the action when the speech was being said. Okay, it's very simple, but see, people don't understand that. They don't understand the way the law works. They never really been outside like that. They don't understand. Like, I know guys that have been to jail. I know how it works with law. Okay, because I've been in courtrooms before. I'm hearing people explain certain things. I'm hearing lawyers explain certain things. That's just the way it is. And again, it's not about what I say. It's about what the laws in the books are. Okay, I'm gonna read some of the comments right here, and then I move on. But that was on my chest. I wanted to get it off. And if I talk too much on that, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, NERN says, why are black people so offended by the word is prevalent in rap music? I mean, we're not. I feel like that conversation is unimportant. I feel like the relevance of the N-word is unimportant. What's important is what people do physically to each other. That's what's important. The N-word, all of that. If you want to be offensive, knock yourself out. But there's not going to be a time where you get carte blanche to just do that. Or I'm going to say this. There's not going to be a time where you get carte blanche to just say offensive things without somebody being offended, regardless of what it is. Okay, whatever word you can say, whatever phrase you want to say, whatever accusation you want to lob out at somebody, there's no way to just not be offended. If I call a woman and she says she's a man, she's going to be offended. Although I said something biologically correct in the cuss word, she's going to be offended. You can't stop them from being offended. And that has nothing to do with what happened here. What happened here was a physical conflict, the physical altercation, a gun coming out. The gun didn't shoot N-words. Hey, the gun didn't shoot N-words. The gun shot bullets. And the bullets hit man in the stomach. He had to get put in the helicopter, the Nightingale, whatever, and sent to the hospital by air. He had to get lifted to the hospital. That's what matters. The guy got shot. That's what matters, not the word. Okay. Let me see. Okay, my computer says, bro, you're out of it. Never seen you like this. There go that gaslighting. Hey, I've seen that quite a bit. A lot of you young guys like to gaslight. You'll say something that you think I will take seriously, that I'll be like, hey, you know what? I am out of it. That's called gaslighting. A lot of y'all do that, but it don't work on me. I'm an irregular person. I'm a little bit different. I see through that. So that don't really work. That don't work at all. All right. I'm reading the comments. And thank you, Eric Lopez. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that understands where I'm coming from. And I don't come from a place of hatred or nothing like that. I'm just here to educate, because people literally don't know a lot of what I'm talking about. They have no idea. They don't understand the law. They don't understand the way conflicts work. They don't get it. The moral of the story is leave people alone. Leave people alone. Don't harass strangers. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what color you are. If you white, black, Puerto Rican, the Candy stripe, I don't care. Leave people alone because it's the right thing to do. You shouldn't be harassing people anyway. That's just the correct thing to do. The correct way to be in society is to leave people alone. Be productive in your own way. Don't hurt people. Don't bother people. Leave them alone. That's what you should be doing. But aside from it being the correct thing to do, the right thing to do, it is also dangerous when you do it. You cannot control how somebody reacts to you. If you go up to somebody like, okay, imagine you just out with your family, right? You out with your family. You at the park enjoying the beautiful summer, spring weather. All of a sudden, here come this dude with this funny mustache, makeup on. Okay, he looked halfway transgender. He got a camera. N-word, N-word, N-word. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Can you please leave us alone? Oh, you're chimping out. Oh, you're chimping out. The smooth brains online are cheering and sending them money. Meanwhile, you are losing because if you do something, then that you could get hurt. You might have to go to court. He's a jailbird. You might be right there, but he's dragging you down to his level if you do something. And if you don't do something, now you're just embarrassed for social media content. I hate that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't. All right. But shout out to you guys. Mr. Rich says, too bad Carmelo didn't take your advice. What advice? Y'all, I don't know, man. Look, I'm here to educate, but some of y'all are just not understanding. I don't know if it's a brain defect. Hey, Elon, yo, I need to get Elon. Hey, can somebody please give me Elon Musk's cell phone number? I'm gonna need that. Like, Elon, yo, can we get some of them Neuralinks? Fix some of these brains. Hey, man, just can we get the Neuralink to put a few wrinkles in these brains out here? We got straight bowling balls, basketballs at best. Basketballs at best, bowling balls at worst. Okay, spherical objects, metallic, spherical, shiny. That's what you got for a brain if you think that Carmelo Anthony was somehow in the wrong when you are being approached by people. You see, that's the key. You can't go harassing people. Maybe at one point in some parts of the country, you could do that. You could just harass people and nothing happens to you. But it's 2026. That's not a thing anymore. Maybe it was in the past, but no, you can't do that anymore. You just can't. Okay. Just like at one point, you could go into a restaurant, light your cigarette and be smoking right over your steak tartare, right over your appetizer you don't pay for. You could just smoke in the restaurant, but you can't do that anymore. Okay. That's not a thing anymore. You can smoke in the hospital, on an airplane, on a bus, in the restaurant. You can't do that anymore. Maybe it was a thing where you could just harass people and get away with it in your neck of the woods, but it's not a thing anymore. But you're going to go to court and find out, bro. You're going to go to court and find out. Don't worry about it. Okay. By Chris Hall says that Carmelo case has turned racial and political. So if you are a white conservative, you may learn towards a guilty verdict. I mean, it shouldn't be about the color. You shouldn't be concerned about the color in the situation. You should be more that the facts should be what you're concerned about. It shouldn't be about the color. You know, like some people who are the smooth brains accuse me of being defending anybody that's black. I defend anybody that is on the side of the truth. It don't really matter who it is. Daniel Penny, I defended Daniel Penny. And there was a black guy that he unfortunately probably killed by accident while trying to restrain him from harming other passengers. Daniel Penny was defending people. He was protecting people. And it was probably a mistake. I don't think he meant to do that to the guy. And the guy had a long criminal rap sheet. He was well known to be an issue. He had assaulted women before. He was just somebody who unfortunately slipped through the cracks, and his end was inevitable. Whether he was on a subway platform that day with Daniel Penny, whether he fought a cop and got shot, he could have fought the wrong person and got beat up or stabbed. Anything could have happened with somebody that's mentally ill like that. So that was not his fault. It's all about looking at the facts of the case. I don't just lean one way because of the race color, because of the color or the race. If that's how you judge cases, then again, bowling ball at best. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Don't look at things in such a small way. people look at the free speech thing as only what words are said and not what actions are taken. They look at this case and other cases only in the terms of who's black and who's white. Okay, I'm gonna defend the black guy or I'm gonna defend the white guy. Smooth brain take. That's a smooth brain take for you right there. Don't worry about that. Worry about what the facts say. Okay, because sometimes, guess what? It could be a white person and another white person, a black person and another black person. Okay, let me just look at the facts of the case to see who's right and who's wrong, or if it's some kind of way in between. That's the way that it should be. But I'm gonna see some of these comments and then I'm gonna keep rocking. Okay. Now, a lot of y'all so stuck on Carmelo. I said what I said about Carmelo, and I'm right. We're going to see when the trial happens. Okay. He was not looking for a fight. That's that many people. The pain situation was another overdose. I mean, some people think that it was different. I don't know if it was an overdose. Some people think that it was different. The point is that it's not about race. Okay. Let me see. Facts don't care about color or feelings. That's right, Sandy. Facts don't care about color or feelings. I couldn't care less about how somebody looks, what their color is. My thing is, what are the facts of the case? What are the facts of the case? That's all that really matters. Okay. Mr. Rich says you get told to leave their space. See, you can't. You think it's okay to just harass people and try to be the police, and you're not the police, and try to be authority, not authority. You can't just do that to people. Okay. Now, here's something else, though. Here's what people do, Mr. Rich, because you're trying to justify the whole Carmelo thing because you said that they could just tell you to leave their space and you got to do it. That's not the way it works. Just like if I'm on an airplane, right? I'm boarding an airplane and then there's somebody at my seat. Now, if I ask them, because normally it's happened before, and I set this example back then, and it's going to make sense. So I'm getting on Delta. I'm sitting in 15A. I go to 15A. There's somebody right there. Now, when that happens to you guys, what do? Hey, 15A? And then they be like, usually they be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. They sat in the wrong seat by mistake. Now, if they say, I'm in 15A, now you got to show their receipt. Well, I think I got 15A, man. So if they say I'm not getting up, what you going to do at this point? Now, don't lie and say you're going to be confrontational, because you're not going to do that. Because if you're being confrontational right now, what's going to happen is you're going to get escorted off the plane and you're going to get put on a no-fly list. So what happens, you got to go get the what they call it, the flight attendant. You got to get the flight attendant and try to resolve it that way. You cannot try to put your hands on them or get loud and rowdy, because now, see, you have initiated conflict. That's how that works. At that point, when they refuse to get up after you come to them politely, you cannot do anything else, or else you are going to be in trouble. That's how that works. And some of y'all don't get that, which is why we see these airplane crash outs. You see it all the time, because they think they got righteous indignation. They think that they're correct. Meanwhile, the whole plane is saying that you're not correct. Get off the plane. That's the equivalent of a Chud the Builder. The whole plane is saying you're wrong. Get off the plane. Some of y'all are like, in my case of the guy who was on Frontier Airlines that had OD'd or whatever. Y'all are like Malcolm Misha X, the lady that was trying to defend him. That's how y'all are. Not all you guys. Most of you guys, 90% get it because you're not smooth brains, but we still got a few that are struggling. Hey, your nephew that can't get all the way right, he's still in here struggling. He didn't really understand. But hey, he's in the right place to learn. If he's open-minded to learn, he can learn, okay? I could turn that smooth brain into something that got deep waves, okay? I can do that, but you got to be open to it. All right, I'm reading some of the comments here. Let me see. All right, I'm going to move forward. I won't keep talking about this too much. Let me see. Exactly, Riley. Call the flight attendant. You're not gonna do any kind of confrontation. You're not gonna do that. You're getting off the plane. Ain't even worth it. I'll just drive. Okay, so you ain't gonna get on the plane, huh, Sandy? Okay, I'm with it. I am with it. Okay, let me see. Brax Rocker says you are totally all about supporting blacks. You also said the black girl at the track meet with the baton was an accident. Oh, you holding on to stuff from so long ago. I forgot all about that story. See, it's when you want to create a narrative, you'll just log incidents in your mind. I forgot all about that case, but see, you log incidents in your mind that reflect your initial thought process. It's just like some people that say you have a bunch of anti-black content. Some of y'all will say I have pro-black content, and some will say I have anti-black content, depending upon how they think that I am. If you think that I'm an anti-black person because I'm conservative, you're going to find things that you think fit your narrative. If you think that I have a pro-black stance because of maybe one or two cases you thought you disagreed with, you're going to find other things that fit your narrative rather than seeing my entire portfolio for what it is. Most of my stuff is about just news topics, whatever happens. Okay. You had the issue with the airplane and that kind of, I covered that. But again, you're going to find things and just put it in your index. Okay, this video for 2 years ago that ABL put out, I'm gonna put that in my index, and that's gonna be evidence that he is he's a pro-black person. And again, on the opposite, it'd be the same thing. You could have two people that watch all my videos. One will have one conclusion, one will have something else, and the common denominator is that particular person's own brain. That's all. Their own bias from the beginning. Okay, Phoenix says, did I call us all smooth brains? Well, not everybody. I didn't call everybody a smooth brain. Just some of y'all. Just some. Not everybody. And I said some of y'all got basketball, so it's like a little bit of a ridge. You know what I mean? It's okay. Yeah. Some of y'all are really big brains. Some of y'all are not so much. It is what it is. Say you smooth and proud. It's all good. It's all good. But I appreciate y'all. You guys are the best. All right, hold on. Miss Hattie Lou Pettiford says, Chud has free speech, but harassing innocent people isn't lawful. In New York, verbal harassment can be treated as assault. I carried mail in Manhattan for 30 years, and union reps threatened grievances over yelling, cursing supervisors. Exactly. See? You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. And once you are out there, really, and you experience the world, you understand the way humans behave, and you understand what behavior must be regulated in order to have a peaceful society. You cannot just go harassing people and act like you're the victim afterward. But some people think that's okay, and they gaslight and manipulate. They'll say, oh, it's just about freedom of speech. Whole time, that's just a cover for them trying to harass people and get away with it by calling you the N-word and getting away with it, by being able to throw a stone and hide their hand. I saw their hand fly, but because you said freedom of speech, I got to pretend I didn't see it. That's how that go. Okay. All right. I'm reading some of y'all crazy in the comments. Forja May says, aren't New Yorkers known for cussing at each other? There's a cyclist there and he cusses people out when they get in his way. Well, it's a little bit different when you just cussing at somebody. You got to understand nuance now. If you curse at somebody just outside randomly, that's much different than getting into a shouting match with somebody right in your face. And there could be a level of aggression that comes with it, a certain level of threat that comes with it. It's much different. It depends on the situation. Okay. You trying to deliver mail and you're getting cussed out right here. You're on the side of the road and people are kind of like running up on you, burning their exhaust on you, stuff like that. See, that's much different than just saying something from across the way. You got to understand the context here. Okay. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Mohammed says, what made you become conservative? That's a good question. Because it just makes sense to be conservative. It makes sense to be an intelligent person and do things that drive the country forward rather than keeping the country in a shackled state, in a dependent state, and an anti-intellectual state. I think that the liberals think that they are the champions of intellectualism, but they're not. They're just the champions of LGBT. They think that culture makes them superior, but it doesn't. They don't understand how anti-human it is, but I don't want to get too deep. Basically, being conservative just makes sense for me. It just makes sense culturally, everything. It just makes more sense. Being liberal, attaching myself to their platform, it just produces people that are not the best, in my humble opinion. That's all. You do have a lot of smart liberals out there, but the conservative principles push the nation forward. And I put it to you this way. The states that are growing right now in this country are all in red states, all in the South. That's where we have growth because of the conservative policy. And I saw that as being a thing that could happen, and the thing that is happening or was happening when I really became conservative. Just put it two and two together. Everybody, when it comes to the South, people complain about the South. They say, oh, it's backwards, it's this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, 285 can't get enough lanes on it to fill all the traffic. Okay, South Carolina is full to the brim. Florida is full to the brim. Tennessee, full to the brim. Okay, it's full to the brim because everybody wants to come here because of the policies that make this place great. So that's why I became conservative, because of policies that make sense. All right. I'm reading some of the comments and then we'll keep on going. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. So we got Trump over in China. Shout out to President Trump. We'll get to that in a minute. But that was a really interesting trip. A lot of security issues, the phones. I mean, anything they give you over there, they're going to bug it. They're going to put stuff. They're going to try to spy. Like what's happening right now is the U.S. and China are competing. And I think one of the Chinese officials said that they're competing. And I agree with that. I thought that before you even said it. He didn't put that thought in my mind. We are competing with them, and the competition can get fierce. You're talking about countries trying to dominate much of the world. It can get fierce. Okay. You got Taiwan. That's going to be an issue. Greenland going to be an issue. Iran going to be an issue. There's a lot of issues, a lot of things that we are fighting for control over. China, they want Iran, but also we want to be able to liberate that particular port because we got to have this fuel to impact the world in the way we see fit. They want to have it impact them the way they see fit. They want to try to come up and use a lot of that oil for themselves. So we're going to see how this whole thing plays out. But China, that was an interesting trip. Secret Service got into it with Chinese security. And one of the security was like, hey, you're in China. You got to abide by our rules. I was like, okay, y'all trying to be funny. You're trying to say stuff on camera. Don't worry about it. But that's all part of competition. So I think that's going to be the main issue with China. That's going to be the main issue with China is us trying to compete. All right, hold on. I'm going to read some of these comments, and then I'm going to keep rocking here. Dylan says, my family moved to South Carolina 15 years ago. So many people have moved there from the north. Oh, it's crazy. It's full to the max. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia is a place that is being dominated by Northern Virginia, unfortunately. Shout out to VA. Shout out to my home, 7 City, 757. You already know what it is. 2 up, 2 down. The whole thing. Hold on, like that. You already know. But it's too much of Northern Virginia dominating the entire state. And these people couldn't care less about Virginia. All they want is a nice house out there in Fairfax or Loudoun or somewhere like this. That's all they really want. They don't care. Okay. Now, okay, I'm going to ask a question. And the Texas is full. That's right. Texas is full. Tennessee, Florida, all the South, really. Georgia, Atlanta especially. Anywhere in the Atlanta combined statistical area, the CSA of Atlanta is they building houses and stuff in Cartersville, way up north, like Dalton is coming up all the way to Tennessee. They might as well have like one big megalopolis, the whole I-75 corridor, that whole thing. It could just call that Greater Atlanta. Okay. The great state of Northern Georgia, at like North Macedonia. It's kind of how Atlanta is right now. It's crazy. The whole South is like that, blowing up because everybody wants to move here because the Northern policies don't work. The things that they did in New York may have worked at one point, but demographics have changed. The city has changed. The people have changed. The city's not the same as it was. All that wealth, all that money leaving New York, coming down South. The people, the wealth, the innovation, a lot of that is just not in New York City anymore. And New York is still New York to a certain extent, but it's not the same. And a lot of things that were up there making it be a fantastic place, or to be a great place, I should say, not necessarily fantastic, but a great place, that's coming on down south, going to Texas. And like you guys say, Texas is full. It is full. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Now, James Talarico, do y'all think James Talarico is gay? And here's my thing, because we're going to get into it about James Talarico, the Senate candidate, the Democratic Senate candidate out there in Texas, James Talarico, the guy who succeeded over Jasmine Crockett, which was an internal thing for the Democratic Party because they want to Barack Obama him. Obama was a state rep in Illinois, and then he became a senator for one term, and then he became the president for 2 terms. That's the Obama formula. So Talarico on the same trajectory. Okay, you state rep for a while. Nobody knows who you are. You're pulled out of obscurity. You start going on television. You start talking, and you become a senator. You do more talking. You do more appearances. They're grooming you to try to become the president in the future. So they're going to say, all right, boom. You're going to be a senator in Texas, and then you're going to be the president of the USA. So people can see what's happening here, and they're curious about him as a person. Are you married? The last bachelor president, I believe, was what? Buchanan? Hold on. Let me just get a list of bachelor presidents USA. So Buchanan, yeah. The 15th president was the last bachelor president. Now, there was two more bachelor presidents. You had Grover Cleveland, and I think, well, you had people that were widowed. Okay, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, they were widowed. That's not the same thing as being a bachelor. If your wife dies, you were married, but she died. It's not the same thing as not being married. In the case of not being married, it was only one person, James Buchanan, and Grover Cleveland became married while he was in office. And this is in the 1800s, the 15th president and the 22nd and 24th president. Now, you're talking about President 48 will be next. If they have James Talarico win in 32, that'd be 49. So this is not very common at all. And people want to know, hey, are you married? Because if you're not married, I might not trust you, because what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? If you want to be the president, if you want to be in a high level of power, I need to know about you. Are you going to furry conventions in your free time? Are you like one of these dudes putting on this chest vest? Are you LGBT? Are you a monkeypox risk? Like, what's going on with you, bro? They want to know that. And I'm saying some things that are kind of crazy, but I know I'm telling the truth. They want to know if you're single. I don't think that he was being asked if he's single because he's a heartthrob and all the women want him. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about they want to know, who are you? And I think if you dig deep, you're going to see that James Talarico is gay. Now, whatever somebody does and whatever adults do is not my business. Okay. I'm not in the business of trying to police that, but people don't like it. Pete Buttigieg tried, and they were doing way too much. A married dude, a short married dude, two short married dudes with adopted, AKA human trafficked children. I said it. America didn't want that. So if James Talarico was on that wave, if he gonna do something like that, no, and he has no children. That's also, I have no kids either. It's always a question. It's always like, why? That's always a question. So if you're trying to be the president, they're gonna most certainly ask you, why? Have you never been married? Why do you have no children? Are you gay? What's your lifestyle like? What's your background like? What were you doing in college? They're gonna ask those questions. Now with Obama, they gave him Big Mike. So that question was pretty much answered. He didn't have to answer that question, although he was doing some things in college that might have been a little bit questionable, right? Larry Sinclair, people like this would come out and said that he did X, Y, and Z to me, okay? But he had his wife and his children, so it was good. But with James Talarico, that don't exist. There's no kids and there's no wife, no ex-wife, no widow, no divorce, no nothing. So that's going to be an issue. But let me ask y'all the question that I asked earlier. Do y'all think James Talarico is gay? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. All right. Thank you, Fortune May. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Trelly says, Mr. Logan, you remind me of a sharp-minded brother that started Hotel Rwanda. Are you talking about Don Cheadle? Oh, okay. That's funny. However I style myself, I get those comparisons. I've gotten every black male celebrity, but Don Cheadle, that's a good one. Shout out to Don Cheadle. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. That's right, JB. Married men are seen as more stable. Absolutely. Because if you got kids too, if you married and you've been raising children and you got good kids, your son started a football team, your daughter is a homecoming queen. Okay, when you got stuff like that going on, that makes you be elevated a little bit more when you're trying to be an important person in society. But when you don't have that, there's questions that are asked that may have been answered by you simply being married with children. You see? And if you had really good children and you had a really pretty wife, the answer is a lot more questions. Oh, he was able to do that. He was able to get her and be together for a long time, and they kept it together, and their kids are good, happy household, everybody looks healthy. That's going to be somebody that I would trust to run the country. But if he doesn't have that, and there's some other kind of weird stuff going on, maybe I don't trust him. Spencer Pratt. Look, bro, Spencer Pratt, there was no need to have that whole story about living in a trailer, bro, because I understand your house burned down. I get it. I totally understand. You didn't need to airlift. You didn't need to crane in an Airstream trailer to your burnt out property to make it look like you live there when you don't. There was no need to do that. You could have just said, my house burned down because of the incompetence of this administration in Los Angeles right now. I'm living in Santa Barbara right now, and I might stay hotel to hotel. That could have been relatable. You could have said, I was made homeless. I was made homeless by Los Angeles. I am somebody who has a home. I am somebody who has money, but I was made homeless by the administration. You could have just said that. Airlift, craning in the Airstream. I don't like that. Now, some of y'all may think it's okay. I get it. I understand. I totally do. No hate. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh, come on, Spencer. Come on, man. Why would you do that? There was no need to do that. It was unnecessary. I would have still liked what you had to say without that detail. But some people, they think they got to do little tricks. And, you know, Spencer Pratt, let's talk about it right quick. Spencer Pratt is a reality show star. So they would do things like this on reality TV. They would stage stuff to make it look a certain way that it was not. So this is what he does. This is what he knows. So he probably thought in his mind, okay, let's make a big splash. I'm going to take advantage of this burnt out property that's a real thing. I'm going to add a little splat on top. A little razzle dazzle on top. And they had the cool kids say razzle dazzle. And then what they, little razzle dazzle on top. Okay, let's crane in this trailer and make a big commercial. I understood the play. I get it. But I don't like being deceived. I don't like the shenanigans. I want you to be more realistic. I want you to be a real person. I don't want the tricks and the flim artistry that we get from the politicos every single day. Every day, all over the country, we get flim and BS, scamming, fraud, insider trading. I don't want you to do anything that's close to that in my mind because I'm going to get turned off. I'm going to get turned off and say, you know what? Don't even worry about it. But you know what? It's California. So, hey, you can't just let stuff slide, right? Because if you don't let that slide, then who are you going to get? You're going to get Karen Bass. But see, now let's talk about it. Let's just pause. Let's just pause. Okay, Enrico, what did I get wrong, Enrico? Let me know. You're from Virginia, Holmes. You don't know LA politics. You're from Virginia. Don't know LA politics. What did I get wrong, bro? But look, California, it is what it is. However, some people out there are going to say, you know what? Maybe Nithya Raman and Karen Bass know a little bit more about what this takes. This is a really important place. What, number 2, 3, number 1 city in the country? When you're talking about volume of people and economic activity, is pretty important to this nation right now. So we need a guy or girl in there that got some sense, who understands what to do. And it's not going to make things worse than what they are. So there could be a revolt against him. However, some may say, you know what? We have nothing to lose. The city's in the dump. The city's in the sewer. We have nothing to lose. So you might as well go for this guy, Spencer Pratt. So we're going to see, though. I hope that the best person wins. Whatever the case may be, I don't want a Karen Bass to be in there or Nithya Raman, but maybe that's not for me to decide. Maybe that's you guys' kingdom over there, the left kingdom, and you might want a Karen Bass. You might want a Nithya Raman to be in leadership. Who knows? But anyway, SoCal G, okay, SoCal G, you're not biased at all. But nah, SoCal G says, what's the problem with Spencer Pratt, ABL? I'm a 4th generation Californian. We're voting for Pratt. I mean, I laid it out pretty well. If you think it's not really your problem, that's fine. But I laid it out pretty well about that whole thing with the Airstream trailer. You crane that in, bro. Hold on. Do I have the video? Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Here it is. Bro, you crane the video. You crane the. you crane the actual trailer in. Hold on. Okay, like that's what you did for real. There's no sound. Boy, is there sound on the video? Nah, ain't no sound. But you can see what's going on. You just kind of crane that into place like it's a prop. See, the thing is, I don't appreciate stuff like that because it points to inauthentic. What's the word? Inauthenticity, not being authentic, not being organic. You craned it in just to pose for the actual video for the you created a movie set, bro. I don't like that. But if y'all like it, it's fine. Hey, it's California. You like Hollywood productions. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just saying what I don't like. But see, that's why I don't live over there. That's why I'm over here. That's why I say certain people, if you are used to one part of the country, you should pretty much just stay there or stay in a place that's like that. The California residents, your SoCal guys, your NorCal guys, you might want to stay like Nevada, Idaho, Arizona. I don't wish the California invasion on those places, guys, and Boise and even Vegas. I don't wish that on you guys, but if they're going to move somewhere, it should be a culturally similar place. Or what they do is when they move, they import their culture to the new place. Nashville, they bring in the Starbucks out there and this restaurant, that restaurant, because they want to feel like they're still back home to a certain extent. And they also vote a certain way as they did when they're back home, which creates a problem, but different story. I digress. Okay, Iron Spire, what's the point, Iron Spire? Let me know. What point am I missing? Y'all let me know. How does he get power and water to the Airstream? Ain't no power and water to the Airstream. There's nothing in the Airstream. It's just a prop. It's just like a movie set for the commercial. And the commercial was effective. It was a great commercial, but you got to understand that when you are running to be a politician, a mayor or governor, senator, president, whatever it is, you have to lead with authenticity. And when you don't do that, that's going to poke holes in your character and be easy fodder for the campaign against you. Look at this guy. He doesn't really live there. It's pretty much a self-own. It's a layup against you. It's, you giving the guy the ball and saying, dunking in my face type stuff. Anyway, Martha Allen says Idaho is totally purple now. I get it. I get it. Virginia was the same way at one point. It was a red state. Then as the deep state grew, as the government grew, as DC grew, we became bluer and bluer. We were red and then purple and now solid blue, unfortunately. Okay, Base is really authentic. Well, Karen Bass, I'm not sure if you're trolling or you being serious, but some people may think that you're right and some think you're wrong. We'll see. He has water trucked in. They bring water to it. All right, Mr. Rich, whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. Hey, look, Rex Rocker, I know the house burned down. That's why I say there was no need to do all the theatrics. Just say my house burned down and I don't live there anymore. I'm living place to place. I'm staying with my parents. That would have been a story that would make it would be just as impactful as the whole Airstream trailer kerfuffle. But again, he comes from the reality TV world where they set up props, they set up stages, they make things look a way they're not really in order to promote. It's like marketing. It's like, but you can't do that when you're running for office because it chips away at your authenticity, which will make people less likely to vote for you. Ron Henderson says Pratt had a slip of integrity with that ad. Yeah, that's exactly slip of integrity. That's a great way to put it. A slip of integrity. That's all. And it was not necessary to do it. But anyway, I'm gonna get on that point no more. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna read some of these comments and then I'm gonna show a few videos here. Okay. Now, if anybody disagrees, I know feathers got ruffled. If you disagree, call in later, about 10:30 or so. I'll open the phone lines. All right. But let's keep on rocking and rolling here. JB asked a good question. This is the same question I asked. Doesn't he have to live in Los Angeles in order to run for office there? Yes. I would presume. Now, to my Los Angelinos, my SoCal guys, my California people in general, y'all let me know if I'm right. Do you have to live in the city of Los Angeles to run for the mayor or become the mayor of Los Angeles? Let me know, because running for mayor could be one thing, but being the mayor is something else. You could run for mayor, maybe living in Santa Barbara potentially, and commute the hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours or whatever from up there to down there. Or maybe you got to be in LA the whole time. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I would think you wouldn't be in LA the whole time because you need to be there campaigning. You need to be there doing interviews and everything else rather than having to commute 2-3 hours or whatever the case may be. All right. Let me see. All right. Let's keep on rocking here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But shout out to you guys for watching. I know I'm a little bit late doing this. Shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do. I know I couldn't do that show without you. Thank you to you guys for being the first sponsors of the show, but also thank you to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the box. Also, just go to patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Go to ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONYLOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website, and for each long-form video that I produce, I will provide sources from the left, from the right, and the center in the article. I will also have everything that you need on the front page of the website in each article for long-form videos, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. They'll be able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website. And also, Uncle ABL is back, and I'm going to do shorts for now on that, and then I'm going to do some longer forms to address some of the shorts. So that's going to be everywhere. Uncle ABL, that'll be the channel, the YouTube channel, the Instagram page, and the next one will be the Facebook page. But right now we're on Instagram and YouTube with Uncle ABL. And if you have my regular Instagram page, I'll share them on that one. So again, Uncle ABL YouTube, Uncle ABL on Instagram. And one of my most recent videos I did was about quote unquote, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And if you guys don't know, I'll give you a brief preview. So Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is somebody who goes on a lot of podcasts and talks about relationships, stuff like that. The Kevin Samuels type topics, she talks about that. Now, there's a whole kerfuffle about her not having the doctoral credentials. She can't prove she's an actual doctor, a therapist. She can't really prove it. She can't prove her license to be a therapist. Now, I said, why would you be watching the podcast and take it seriously? If you guys are watching a podcast where they're giving advice, take it with a grain of salt. Take it for entertainment. Always do your own research to verify what's being said. Don't just take one person's word for it on the internet. I don't care if they say they're a doctor. I don't care if they say they're a scientist. I don't care nothing. We know about Anthony Fauci. Okay, he says he's a doctor. Oh, okay. So because he's a doctor, I got to trust whatever he says? Obviously not. The doctors were the ones saying do this and do that. Not all doctors, which is why you got to have a second, third, fourth opinion. Don't just trust what one person says, especially not on a podcast. Anyway, Uncle ABL, check it out. I have more of that kind of content over there. I was kind of struggling for a while about how I wanted to do it, but now I got the good formula. So check it out, Uncle ABL. But anyway, y'all know not to listen to anybody in the comment section. Speaking about comments and podcasts, if anyone's in the comment section of my videos talking about I'm ABL, send me some money, send me a gift card, contact me on this 1,000-digit WhatsApp number. Please don't do it, because I still see people getting scammed every day. Don't get scammed in 2026. It's not worth it. It's going to be a guy over in India, barefoot, no shoes. He's going to be in Ukraine trying to get the war settled down, trying to avoid from getting drafted. Okay, trying to get a bowl of borsch to get him through the day. Or it's going to be a guy over in Lagos, Nigeria, look just like me, and the voice ain't going to match. It's going to sound like this. The sound is not going to be correct. It's going to be wrong. Don't have that guy try to scam you in 2026. We don't have time for that. Now, I'm going to show, where am I going to go here? Do I want to do any Chud? I don't want to do no Chud, for real. Okay, what I'm going to do is show some of the reactions. I'll do that, okay, about Chud. I'm not going to show anything about him, but some of the reactions. I'm going to show my friend Brandon Tatum, but before that, I'm going to show Andrew Branca. This is about the potential court case, okay?
Chud's going around provoking people. And he asked, but do these people, do they not provoke us? They break our laws. They steal everything. They destroy our cities. They destroy in real terms. Who cares about words? The N-word, for example. Anyone think that Chud's defense counsel is going to start his opening statement with something like this? That's not going to happen. Apolitical. I don't think apolitical is apolitical, but writes, whether or not you find Chud the Builder distasteful or unpleasant is not the point. The point is to establish whether white people have First Amendment rights to free speech. First of all, Chud is not charged with the crime of using wrong speech. He's charged with the crime of attempted murder for shooting someone in the belly. This is not a free speech case. 2, whether white people have the right to defend themselves from violent blacks for using their free speech. Well, you don't need to, for using their free speech part, you're allowed to defend yourself from violent attacks from anyone. What Chud does is shine a light on this anti-white system and bring it a step closer to its eventual demise. Is that what he's doing? Or is he just being provocative to create social media content?
That's all. That's all that he's doing. That's all that he's doing. All the big brain intellectuals talking about, oh, he's bringing this issue to light. He's helping the white man. It's like, no, he's just trying to get some money from provocative social media content. And when you do stuff like that, there's an element of danger. Like I said before, if anybody's in the street and they just say something crazy to me, first of all, I'm going to already know what it is. I'm going to know it's TikTok. So I'm going to just turn into ABL mode right there. I'm going to give you a whole video right there. You're going to go viral. Okay. And if you touch me, though, it's going to be a whole different story. But as long as we could just talk, yeah, I already know what's going on. I'm going to say exactly what's happening and what you're trying to do. It's going to be something that would be eye-opening for the person trying to do it to me, because I'm going to say certain things that they're going to pierce his soul like a dagger in the heart of a vampire. It's going to be crazy. So I can just play along. But most people are not trying to play with you. Most people don't want to be bothered. So when you're being provocative like that, you're playing a very dangerous game that not everybody wants to play. Some people you come in contact with might have PTSD. It could be the worst day of their life. They could have just lost a family member. They could have just had their, anything could have happened. You never know what somebody's going through. So when you're being provocative like that out in the public, danger can happen. Okay. And just because one person wound up with some danger does not prove a point about the collective of people that are being harassed or about all those who are linked to the person because of their race. That's not the way it works. Okay. So yeah, leave people alone. Now here's Bree Tatum. Shout out to B Tatum. Okay. I'm gonna show you, bro. Here's his reaction to it.
Now I don't feel bad for him whatsoever, not one bit. I cannot stand people that spend their time, effort, and energy to go around and live stream confronting people and being disrespectful nut jobs and antagonizing people to get confrontation. And when they get the confrontation, they want to pull a gun and shoot people and do all this old crazy stuff when they are the ones who are the instigators. You cannot go out and instigate a conflict, and then when you start losing a conflict, you want to try to pull a gun. This is defense, self-defense 101. Self-defense is when somebody's attacking you and you feel like your life is in serious threat of bodily injury or death, then you can use deadly force. But there's a force continuum. You can only use equal amount of force as somebody's, presenting to you. Now, in self-defense, if you did not create this situation and you defend yourself, you're good. But if you went out and created a situation, you cannot then claim self-defense once a person retaliates against you.
Exactly. See, this is basic law, though. This is basic law. This is not anything. But see, a lot of people have never they don't know this. Okay, they don't know this. And they've never been in a situation to think about that. Because they never really had that kind of confrontation or known anyone that has had that kind of confrontation. See, I know it. He knows it. The lawyer knows it. Everybody knows it, but not everybody knows it. Not everybody knows it, and it's okay. I'm here to educate. Okay, now, let me just show you just one video to give you an example. No N-word stuff, but this is him when he was in the restaurant getting kicked out. Okay, and to show that it's not just a black thing. Everybody was being harassed by this guy, and people just didn't like him. They wanted him to leave. They wanted him to get out. And you're going to see this is a black, white, you know, the whole thing. And we'll get to China in a little bit. Y'all hang tight. I see the comment.
Your name Dalton?
Yeah.
Gotcha. We're going to refuse service tonight, just to let you know.
Oh, so free beers?
Free beer, but we're going to ask you to leave right now.
Oh, you want me to leave right now?
Yep.
For what reason?
Just refusing service. We have the right to refuse service to anybody.
For what?
We have the right to refuse service to anybody in our restaurant.
Is it because I say nigger? Be honest.
See, look, you can't even prevent it. See, you're just trying to say things to invoke a reaction, and you're filming it and you tagged it with your own thing on it because this is the kind of content that you do. This is what you do. And some of these young people feel like this content is entertaining. You see? But you can't play with everybody like that.
I'm a white man that says the N-word. That's why you don't like me.
We have the right to refuse service to anybody in the restaurant.
You gotta love it. Freedom of speech is not free anymore.
Police are already
That's
on
all
the
right.
way.
Police are on the way for what?
Police are already on the way.
For what?
Please leave the building. Thank you, sir.
He called the cops already. Hey, you have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Faggot.
Your name Dalton?
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? It's like, bro, you getting kicked out of the restaurant, you getting arrested, N-word this. And look, what do you do if you're in the restaurant and they're telling you to leave? A, leave, or B, make a scene, start cussing, using racial slurs, trying to argue. You got to leave. You got to leave. That's his MO. That's right, Jimbo. That's his MO. It's like, come on, man. And you can see it's not a black or white thing because the guy he was doing that to was white. He's just a general nuisance. Now, look, here's a video. This is not Chud. This is just some of these young guys doing this harassment streaming. And you're going to see what can happen to you or what might happen to you if you do things like this and people don't want to have that happen to them.
These are my favorite. These are my favorite. Oh, you got meat?
It's hard to find these.
I'll take it. You got
Dang, I've been seeing these
three.
in so long, man. This is a blessing come true.
These are my favorite.
Are you fucking with me or what? I'm about ready to blow your brains out.
Okay.
Ship that in the cart.
Just seeing what you got, sir.
Well, you see what I got, right?
So look, if y'all couldn't see what was going on there, you got this man minding his business in the grocery store. He has stuff in his cart, and you got these hooligans of different races. I see a little light-skinned hand right there. I'm hearing some black voices. I saw the one dude right here. Okay. You got a gray patch in your hair doing that? Like, how old are you? Anyway. So this various races. The guy has no patience for this. He's like, y'all messing with me, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. You see, now, what some may try to do is say that he's wrong for pulling this gun right here. Now, you might be right that he's wrong for pulling this gun. Maybe he might be wrong. But it doesn't matter because it's out now. And you could have avoided this completely if you did not come to him and initiate conflict. Why are you in my cart, bro? I don't play like that. If that was me in a situation, I already know what it is. But he has no idea what's going on. So now, okay, I'm in danger. What's up? And my finger is inside the trigger guard. So I might let it go. And one of y'all might get hurt. All for what? For social media content. And when you go to their page, it's nothing but stuff like that. So to the youngins out there, y'all playing a dangerous game for social media attention. Okay. One of these days, we already saw what happened to Chud. One of y'all might get, hey man, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, I'm gonna move forward here. Let's talk about Trump and China. So we got delegation arriving in China. You see them in the background doing their thing. I'm gonna kind of zoom in on that in a little bit. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's do it like this. So you can see the whole, you know, pomp and circumstance, the whole celebration, the little ceremony they got for them over in China, in Beijing. All right, so we got a nice little intro, okay, in Beijing, China. And of course, you had a plane full of people. You had some of the big dogs, a lot of the industry execs, a lot of big brains, and I appreciate that they went. I think was Tim Apple, was he there? It was a lot of guys there. Hold on. List of executives on Trump China trip. Let me see if I can get this here. Okay, so we had, can I just get a list or nah? Like, what is the problem? Okay, so you have, of course, Rubio, Bessent, Hegseth, and okay, well, you had Elon. He's one of them. Let's just play this. Making funny faces and stuff like this. That's Elon. Okay, so I got a list here. All right, you have Tim Cook from the CEO of Apple currently, Larry Fink from BlackRock, Steven Schwarzman from Blackstone, Kelly Ortberg from Boeing, Brian Skiles of Cargill, Jane Fraser of Citigroup, Jim Anderson, Coherent. These are all CEOs, by the way. H. Lawrence Colt, GE Aerospace, David Solomon, Goldman Sachs, Jacob Bison, Illumina, Michael Maybach, MasterCard, Dina Powell McCormick, Meta, President and Vice Chairman. Was the big dog not there? No Zuck, he wasn't there. That's interesting. Anyway, Sanjay from Micron Technology, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, Cristiano Amon from Qualcomm, Elon, and Ryan McKerney, Visa, CEO of Visa. So a lot of big dogs were there at this particular event because you want to bring your best and your brightest on a trip like this. You want to bring some of the big dogs for sure. You got to have that. Now, here's Brett Baer ordering a sausage from a robot worker in China. Now, let me ask you this. Fortune May asked me a question. I'm going to read this right quick. ABL, what's my thoughts on those auditor channels that record outside grocery stores and stuff? Hate it. It's harassment. Like Warren Sapp, what are you doing, bro? And I might do a video about that because Warren Sapp, I saw him doing that whole auditing thing. And the people were just like, bro, you just interrupting our work day. You're not going to get anything done. You're trying to be relevant by filming this stuff and putting it on social media. I saw one video where they were saying that to him about him just trying to be relevant. And as they were saying that, a group of kids had just walked by. And the guy was like, none of those kids know who you are. And nobody knew who he was. You could tell that kind of got Warren Sapp. I think what that is people just trying to be relevant, trying to get some attention. It's unnecessary and it does nothing. My thing is, if you are an auditor and you actually help society by doing that, then I understand why you do it. But these people don't do anything other than just get in the way of real official business. They think they understand the way the law works and they don't. They think that they're doing the correct thing and they're not. So either it's just their ignorance or their desire for attention that has them do stuff like that. I hate it. Anyway, Brett Baer trying to get food from a robot. Now, y'all let me know. Would you want to order food like this from a robot over here in the USA? Y'all let me know. Exactly, Fortune Mate. It's invasive and uncomfortable, the whole auditor thing. Hate it.
Inside. This is the first of its kind for this kind of interaction. If you want to order something, hello, can I get a sausage, please?
Okay. 烤肠 8.8 yuan.
Inside.
Now look, first of all, in China, I guess you could do that. I guess. I don't know. But still, it's China. You know, in some parts of the country, they don't believe in hand washing. I don't know about Beijing, but in Wuhan, they don't believe in hand washing. Okay, so you picking the microphone up. I don't know who's had their hand on that and who had their mouth anywhere near it. If this was in Los Angeles, for sure, the microphone would be completely filthy. So I'm not going to, you know,
This is the first.
talk to the microphone. And is that needed really to do that? Why can't I just talk out into the open? If I got my phone right here, it can hear me talking. If I call somebody right now and I talk to him this far away or even further away, it's going to hear me. Anyway, would you guys order your food like that? Y'all let me know. I don't know, man. Personally, I think I'm good. I ain't really trying to talk to no, you know, I ain't trying. I want it to be like iRobot. I want it to be like iRobot. That's not really my thing. Pause. I saw that. Pause. Yeah. Yeah, mouth on the mic. Yeah, pause. But still, I don't know if I want to interact with the robot like that. And that's not really my thing. Now, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle between Secret Service and Chinese police. Check it out.
It's worth pointing out there have been some heated and physical clashes between the Secret Service and the Chinese police on basically at the back doors of these events, including one very physical standoff where a Secret Service officer was being prevented from taking his weapon in as part of the protective detail. But things have all been ironed out, and as far as we know, the schedule has not been changed because of that. Martha.
Yeah, well, it's a tense meeting. I think that is that's pretty clear.
It's worth.
All right, now let's see some of this tense meeting. Let's see some of the tense meeting.
Sorry.
And RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Do you understand that we are in the motorcade with the president?
Shoemaker to Tiso, we are
still
So that the main concern now is that the security of our side do not allow you, sir, leave this.
They are literally waiting.
We gotta move. We gotta go, guys. Okay. No, we gotta go. We gotta go. Go. We gotta go. We gotta move. We gotta go. Let's go. We're going.
Look at this. That is our head of security.
We gotta go, guys. Let's go. He's right.
We have to go.
We gotta go. Go.
We have to go.
We are going.
Unbelievably.
U.S. press, we are going.
Go, guys, go.
We are going.
Everybody go.
Rachel, make sure you're in this.
Go.
Be gentle, but we are going. Don't run over anybody. Do not do what they did to us. Which one's what?
Hey, man. You know, that's that, you know, just everybody trying to jostle, everybody trying to be like, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I know what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing. It's like, come on, man. Let's get it together. Now, here is a top Chinese military official talking about the U.S. and China relationship. Hopefully, he doesn't say anything as bad as what we just saw. That was a mess. The Chinese the Chinese authorities, police or whatever, kind of having a little collision with Secret Service and the press corps with the White House. That's a lot right there. But again, you got two countries trying to battle for position in the world as superpowers. But let's watch this.
Do you think that the tension is rising or subsiding between the U.S. and China?
That's a good fundamental question. I believe among all these kind of allegations, argument whatsoever, 21st century actually is easier for us to live in than during the 20th century, because that was characterized by a kind of ideological rivalry. Yeah, in 21st century, we are competing, even in your term, we are competing within the same international system. Yeah, we are not your enemy, and we are best described by you as a competitor. So competitors could live within the same system. And I believe because the world is facing so many changes, not only climate change, but also like agentic AI, right? So it is really in our own interest for our two countries to take the lead. I don't mean G2, but for us to take the lead, yeah, to make this world livable at least.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right, there we go. So what do y'all think about that? Y'all think that it's just a matter of we're just trying to compete? We're just trying to, figure that out? Like, what's your opinion about that? Okay. Now, the surveillance in China is crazy. We got surveillance a lot here. We got the flock cameras and whatnot. It's going to be an issue in the future because with some of these flock cameras, they said, like here in Atlanta, they said that there were some flock cameras accessed in sensitive areas by employees when the shit had been accessed, like in swimming pools and stuff like this. So it's going to be an issue potentially in the future or even right now. But in China, the surveillance is omnipresent. It is omnipotent because it can see you do anything, any kind of minor infraction on the street. Let's say you're parked illegally for 2 seconds. Well, they're going to get you because they already see everything. They can see the infraction happening and get you immediately. So it'll prevent you from doing it ever again. Even if for a little while, it just maintains order that way. Now, some would say that's a good thing to maintain order like that. And some say, well, we're trying to maintain order at a high level, but what at cost? At what cost? Your freedom? Let's watch this.
One thing that's absolutely unmissable here in Beijing is the amount of security cameras they have. If you look around, you can sense some over there, some over there, some over there in the distance. Definitely all around us. One thing that's absolutely unmissable here in Beijing is the amount of security cameras they have. If you look around, you can sense.
All right, let's watch. Am I froze? What's going on? Okay, let's unfreeze. There we go. Let's unfreeze. And here is an example of just how quick they can get you. Now watch. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to turn this down because it's just speaking their language. But it says, your illegal act has been videotaped and collected. And you can see the drone flying over. Please leave immediately. I guess the car's parked improperly right here on the road. Shenzhen, hold on. It says Shenzhen Air Traffic Police. And then it says, the patrol reminds you that the bus lane of Shenan Middle Road is a 12-hour dedicated lane. So that's the guy running back to the car right now. So the drone is talking to him this whole time. I'm gonna play it with the sound on so you can kind of hear what's happening. But the drone's talking to him like, yo, you got to get in your car right now. Now it's right up on his windshield. No vehicle occupation. Evidence has been obtained about your illegal behavior. Leave immediately. All right. And it's right there. So the drone is on you. The camera's on you. It says, please wear your helmet. Don't run red lights. So it's go around kind of like telling you to do stuff. Illegal parking will be caught least soon as possible. Shenzhen Air Traffic Control. So they got basically the police in the air watching you, telling you to do certain stuff. Now, do y'all like that? Do y'all not like that? Let's watch this again with the sound on so you get the full context. Hey, it's like Judge Dredd in real life. It's like Judge Dredd. And like that's the next step. You have like a humanoid police officer, a humanoid android police officer. You already got that right here with the drones to a certain extent. But the next thing would be RoboCop, Terminator, Judge Dredd. Yeah, dystopian future. But some people, they like it because it maintains order. But again, at what cost? Your freedom. There you go. All right. And here's Brett Baer talking about the cameras, how after 2 minutes, they got a ticket. 2 minutes. And if you don't know how to do the tickets, he's going to tell you because it's pretty efficient. I would say that. And the way they do it it will make sure that you don't do things like this. And it's pretty like Black Mirror-esque, very Black Mirror-esque. But let's watch.
In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes, and he got a message on his phone that he got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it on the camera. Now, there are real questions what the CCP's goal is about citizen tracking and social scoring. They say it's to make everybody feel safe. These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere. And while they're watching us here in China, we hope you continue to watch. Special report from Beijing.
There we go. So that's the surveillance out there in Beijing, China, and other parts of China as well, not just Beijing. Okay. So here's part of how they're trying to infiltrate the U.S. Let's play some of this right quick. Now, somebody said something about Chinese spies in the room. I don't know if I saw any of that. Let me see if I can find something, and then in the meantime, I'll play this.
Here are the ways the Chinese government is trying to infiltrate the United States, make inroads here. There are two tracks. There's an influence campaign, and then there's espionage. Let's look at corporate espionage first. That's the stealing of these companies' secrets to gain the upper hand economically. Just in January, a jury found a former Google engineer guilty of stealing the top secret AI technology that was in development at Google, bringing it back to China and setting up his own company.
Look, one more time, let's read it. It says, former Google engineer found guilty of stealing AI secrets for a Chinese firm. So this is not just like, oh, well, maybe he did it. No, he got found guilty, got caught and got found guilty.
You've had similar cases in other industries, engine building for Boeing planes, for example, and other industries as well, to rival the United States. And this has been going on for years. Then you also have the cyber espionage efforts to target White House officials, people in power, to try to find out and gain access to what is going on. And that is an ongoing threat. It's not just China, it's Iran, it's North Korea, but China as a nation state actor is absolutely doing this. So it is a constant national security threat that security experts here in the US are always aware of and efforting to mitigate.
Which is why they try to tell people like Eric Swalwell, okay, stay away from Yum Yum, stay away from Fang Fang. Don't get caught up by the Chinese spies because they are here and they are being very serious. They're not just, they're very serious and they have a directive, they have a goal. And if you are allowing yourself to get caught up, you will get caught up. Now, I found the Chinese spy video. Somebody asked me about that, about Elon. I did find that. So let me just play that right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, you know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, RIP to the headphone users. My bad. But the other video had really low volume. Let's watch. Okay, it's just music. But you can see, okay, people are trying to record. Look, did you see that? So as somebody is recording, you got people looking dead in the camera. Dead in the camera. So they see what's going on and they're trying to block it. 1, boom. And then 2, boom, right in the camera. They see what's going on. They're kind of like monitoring the situation. And them in the back, the ladies, they monitoring what's going on too. Heavy spy presence here. Okay. So you got Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. Look at the spies. It's like, all right, China, y'all pretty obvious. Y'all not, sneaky. You're not low. And of course, Elon's a big celebrity. Elon could just get like a little bit of plastic surgery and become Chinese because you already got kind of like the profile already. So there we go. Shout out to the spies in the room. We see y'all. Y'all not. And hold on. Let me see if I can find that one lady. Hold on. Her right here. Like, watch this. You see Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, but then watch this. Who is this? Android, RoboCop, I don't know. Clearly somebody who is a spy or a police, Secret Service or something like that. Something to the equivalent. Whatever they would call their feds over there, clearly she's part of that because you can see how she came into the frame and the way her face is. Yeah, I'm not here to be cute. I'm here to, hey, one of y'all act up. I'm here to do something else. That's what she is, in my humble opinion. All right, and we got one last handshake from Trump and Xi Jinping.
We had a great time. Thank you very much, everybody.
So there was kind of a lot in that handshake. You got Trump slapping his hand, all kind of stuff. You got Xi kind of like jerking him a little bit, but it's all competition. That's all what these guys are going to do. Taking a dominant stance over like this. And then you see Trump had to kind of come forward a little bit because she kind of like shifted back, had to bring him forward a little bit. So that's all part of the game. All right, so there we go. Shout out to Trump and China. Hopefully they were able to get some things accomplished. I hope. And if you guys didn't see, you had Big Marco Rubio, with the Venezuelan dictator Nike jumpsuit. You saw that. This was when this was on the Air Force One on the way to China. Okay, now, of course, these are Adidas shoes. That's like something people were concerned about. I had no idea. I didn't even really see that. I'm not a fashion guy, so I don't care about the name brands. But this was the Venezuelan dictator outfit. As you can see, this is how they arrested Nicolas Maduro. All right, so, you know, Rubio could be sending a message to Cuba. They're trying to indict Raul Castro. Raul Castro got to be about 1,000 years old. And it's time that they went ahead and did something with Cuba because they can't keep going like this. They cannot keep going like this. Communism, socialism, it never works. And the people are suffering as a result. Now, speaking about Rubio, he was asking about JD Vance. Because I think that people, not just us, not just myself, yourself, but people all over the country and all over the world see that Big Marco could run in 2028. So here's a question about that and about JD Vance. So let's watch.
Even. What do you think about that? Would you want to be president?
No, look, I know this is going to sound like the typical job. I'm going to be in this job for the next 2.5 years. I'm going to do that job. I'm going to finish the job for this president. I'm enjoying it very much. I think we're going to make a lot of good things happen. JD is a very good friend of mine. If JD runs for president, I think he'd be a phenomenal candidate. I've said publicly, and I'll say it again, I'll be the first person to sign up and support him. I think JD would do great.
Would you want to be a vice president?
I want to be the Secretary of State, and I'll worry about the future in the future. I'm not saying, I'm not telling you that that's what I'm aiming for. I've been doing this for a long time, too. I was in the Senate starting in 2010, so I'd like to do some other things with my life at some point, although public service is an honor to be able to be involved in.
Okay. Even.
All right, there we go. So what do y'all think? Y'all think Big Marco going to be the president soon, 2028? Will he run, or will JD Vance run? Y'all let me know, because it's got to be somebody. It can't be Trump anymore because you got 2 terms and that's it. You got a 2-term limit as a president, and also Trump is, 80 years old, so it cannot be Trump. Even if it could be Trump, it cannot be Trump. So who's it going to be? I think Big Marco has a chance. JD Vance has a chance, but I like Marco a lot. Whatever he decides to do, I hope he does not leave D.C. Yeah, please stay in D.C. Please, serve the people. That's what I want. But it was a great answer. That was a fantastic answer. And it was the appropriate answer because you don't want to throw anybody under the bus. You don't want to attack your own team. You don't want to do anything like that. You want to be to get the job done that you're doing right now. So that was a very good answer. Now, speaking about potential candidates in the future, maybe not in 2028, maybe in 2032, this guy may run for president. James Talarico, and sorry for the headphone, RIP to the headphone users. James Talarico is how old? Hold on. James Talarico age. He is 37. Young guy. Very young guy. 37 years old. Young as far as trying to become the president. You got to be at least 35. Now, he would not be president anytime soon. He won't run anytime soon. And I hope he's not ever president in my lifetime or ever. But he won't run anytime soon. here is James Talarico. You guys may or may not remember, he defeated Jasmine Crockett in their Senate race. And the reason why I say defeated like that with the quotations is because there was a lot of dirty stuff that happened. I think they could have won without doing the dirty stuff, but they did it anyway. Like Spencer Pratt, you could have been successful without having to do that ad with the fake trailer. But anyway, the Democratic Party did funny stuff, like they arranged something with Stephen Colbert where they gave him an interview, but not Jasmine Crockett. And they knew that when they did that, they began trouble with it. It was a whole big thing. So they knew that if they interview only him and not Jasmine Crockett, the FCC would come against them, because if you have an FCC license, you must give political candidates equal time, which means if you interview James Talarico, who's running for Senate or running for the, in the primary for Senate, you must also interview Jasmine Crockett. But they didn't do that, and they knew that there would be a problem and they couldn't air it, so they used that as promotion for the YouTube video. You see what I'm saying? Because you could put it on YouTube without doing equal time, but you can't put it on the air if you have an FCC license. You see? So they did stuff like that to make sure he became the nominee to run in Texas. Now, I hope he does not win, but he will run, and you will see him again in the future. So he was asked, hey, your girlfriend, are you single? What's going on? Check it out.
Biggest.
And how old is he? 37 years old. Born in 1989, I believe. Hold on. Yep. May 17, 89. So he just turned 37. Well, matter of fact, he'll be 38 tomorrow. His birthday tomorrow. Interesting timing, James Talarico. You got your birthday coming up and this video comes out. Oh, okay. So 38 tomorrow, May 17, 2026.
The biggest question, not even close, the most popular question that we got asked is, are you single? Are you single? So you have a girlfriend.
I do.
Of many years.
I do. And she is my rock. She is my best friend. I don't know if I could have gotten through the last 6 months of this crazy race if she hadn't been by my side. So, yeah, thanks for asking about her as well.
Do you want kids one day? What can you share with us about that?
Well, now you sound like my mom asking when I'm going to give her another grandbaby. I definitely do. I definitely do want to have kids one day. Yeah. It's kind of hard in the middle of this campaign to think, the next week ahead. Certainly hard to think that far in advance, but it's definitely something that I want to do one day.
All right, there we go. So we got, I'm frozen again. We got James Talarico saying, hey, yeah, I got a girlfriend, but she don't go here. She don't go to the school. You know what I mean? Y'all can't. And also, maybe I want kids one day. It's like my mom might want kids one day. So he has no children and he's not married, but he has a long-term girlfriend. Now, my question is, how long has his long-term girlfriend been? So that's a red flag right there to potential voters, to your potential constituents. It's a red flag because you've been married. I mean, you've been with this girl for a long time and you've not gotten married and there's no children. What's going on? See, some may take that question about, are you single, as they're interested in him romantically. There could be some who have that in their mind when they ask that question, but I think the majority who ask that question want to know about him. Okay, you trying to become the president one day? You want to be the senator here in Texas? So what's your personal life like, though, bro? Are you married? Do you have children? Are you gay? Are you straight? Now, what do y'all think? Do y'all think he has a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Because, I mean, if you ask me, and I'm not trying to be funny, but what they say? It's giving boyfriend. That's what it looked like to me. But I could be wrong. Okay, Spencer Pratt. Let's talk about Spencer Pratt. Let's show him right quick. Outside the trailer.
I'm going to win the lawsuit against Gavin Newsom's state park. And with that money, if I'm the mayor of Los Angeles, I will rebuild. If Karen Bass gets reelected or Nithya gets elected, I will be done with trying to live in LA, and I'll take that money, from the Newsom State Park and the LADWP, and I'll go find somewhere that my kids will not have to see naked zombies, and I can have the last American dream somewhere. But I will not rebuild if these people are in charge, because what would I be putting money into? It would
Well, the reservoir's empty right now. I was literally just up on the hill, and we're just flying the drone over the reservoir, and it's bone dry.
Here's the best part. You can go up my street. This is the reservoir that they also drained when they were fixing the other one. They said, let's drain this one. So there's actually two reservoirs that were drained, the Palisades Reservoir and the Santa Ynez. So I had one drained 6 months before on my street. But here's the best part. You go back, I don't know if it's 1960 or 1970s, you look at the LA Times cover and it shows them building the Santa Ynez Reservoir, and the engineer says this was built for wildfire protection for the community. This new idea that this covers on it to make it drinking water. No one was drinking that water. It has cisterns for helicopters. That's why it was built, for the helicopters to come and take the water. So right now it's empty because they want $20 million, LADWP, all the ratepayers in Los Angeles, to build a new cover. So the cover that they wouldn't repair initially while it was empty was 140 grand. So that now they've decided to put a new cover. It's $20 million. My point is, these people are diabolical. I met with the community leaders in Boyle Heights. Their community is fighting. They want a roundabout, and the community doesn't want this roundabout. $108 million for a roundabout. And then they say they don't have money to clean the streets. They don't have money for electricity. But you have $108 million for a roundabout?
It makes no sense. Now, this is going to be Adam Carolla. Well, this was Adam Carolla talking to Spencer Pratt, of course, mayoral candidate out there in Los Angeles. I still think that he would be the best person to succeed and win in this race. Although I don't like the whole trailer situation, I think he would be the best person to succeed in California. Now, somebody said ABL will vote for Spencer Pratt. Did you guys see that video of the guy talking about, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go vote illegally. Hey, I'm going to go vote illegally in California for Spencer Pratt. I could go to LA and say, yeah, my name is John Smith. Where do I live? 125 East Street. Los Angeles, that's where I live. Okay, now I'm a vote. ID, you can't ask for ID. That's illegal. That's racist. I'm calling my governor. I'm calling my senator. I'm calling the cops. You can't say, where's your ID? But let's just watch this.
I will be flying to Los Angeles to illegally vote for Spencer Pratt. What they gonna do? ID me? I will be flying to Los Angeles to illegally vote for Spencer Pratt. What they gonna do? ID me?
Exactly. I mean, what are they gonna do? You know, like we try to close the door on the illegal voting thing. We try to say that it's not right to be voting as whoever you want to say you are. We are the ones who want to cut down on the waste, fraud, and abuse, especially when it comes to a thing as important and sensitive as voting. But since I got the door open, okay, come on. I'm gonna hop on the flight. Hey, RIP to Spirit, Delta or whatever, and just go there, cast my vote, and be on my way. Okay, let's keep on going here. Now, here is Chelsea Handler talking about Spencer Pratt. And after we get done watching this, I'm gonna play a fun fact about about. I'm started over again. I'm gonna start all the way up. Here is Chelsea Handler talking about Spencer Pratt. And after we get done watching that, I'm going to play a fun fact about Chelsea Handler. All right, let's check it out.
Oh, hi. If you're seeing this video, this is a reminder that a straight white male, former reality star that has no previous experience in government should not be a legitimate political candidate. Have we learned anything yet? The bar is on the fucking floor, people, and I need you to jump over it. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, there we go. So she's saying, no, we shouldn't vote for Spencer Pratt. He's just like the Orange Man. No, keeping the Orange Man bad alive. How long will they keep Orange Man bad alive? That's been their lifeline for the past 10 to 15 years. Without that, they would be completely starving out there. Without Orange Man bad, where would they be? They'd be in the streets with all the other junkies getting geeked up, beaming the Scotty. But anyway, here is something about Chelsea Handler. Remember Jeffrey Epstein, right? I know who that is. You know, Epstein files ABL. Y'all know who Jeffrey Epstein is. Okay. So didn't he get locked up for the stuff on his phone back in 2008? Wasn't that when he got locked up the first time? Because he was locked up one time and then again, and then he died the second time. But let's watch this right quick about Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea Handler went to dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2010.
There he is.
It's just a fun one.
Yeah, 2010. So Chelsea Handler, if you were at Epstein's house in 2010, that's when he was already locked up for the stuff on his phone, the inappropriate stuff. So he had already been locked up for that, and you were still friends with him at that point. You see, it's one thing if somebody does something and you didn't know they get locked up and you cut ties with them, just like Trump did. I cut ties. I saw him doing stuff in Mar-a-Lago or whatever. We cut ties. But he'd been to prison, and then you were still buddy-buddy with him while at the same time trying to finger wag and be the moral police and talk about Orange Man bad. Now, you are the bad one. But that's typical, though. Hollywood leftists projecting. That's typical for what they do. And she at Diddy parties as well, yeah. And she was with 50. Like, Chelsea Handler is like the ultimate industry yeah. Now, here's Elon. Matter of fact, it's a little bit too long. I'm going to play that. Okay. So the Trump administration put a freeze on Medicaid going to California. 1.3 billion frozen going to California because of all the fraud that happens. Shout out to Nick Shirley and everybody else exposing the monumental fraud in California. And there's been action taken as a result of the fraud being exposed.
The Trump administration is putting a 6-month freeze on a $1.3 billion in Medicaid reimbursements to California. It's the largest ever deferral. It's part of the investigation into fraud in federal health programs. The White House is warning states to investigate fraud or risk losing funding. All
right, there we go. So shout out to Trump, Orange Man good, getting the waste, fraud, and abuse out of our country. And let's go here. Oh, Klubeck. So remember Klubeck? What's his name? Stephen Klubeck. Remember him? This is the guy who had defended Swalwell. Well, he was harboring Swalwell. I guess that's probably the correct word. Say harboring. Let me give you a refresher if you don't remember about that. I should have it. Oh, here we go. Remember this? Remember when Swalwell got caught up with the interns and all kind of stuff, and his campaign to become governor of California went up in flames. At one point, he was staying in the house of Stephen Klubeck, who's a billionaire out there. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I think CGA said that he was he got rich from telling timeshares. I think, anyway, this is the video from before, right when Swalwell got caught up. And I'm going to give you an update on this same man who got caught up with a sugar baby or escort stealing from her clients. Let's watch this.
How's your relationship with Eric? Are you guys still friends?
Eric who? Is that clear? Don't bust the trust. You bust the trust, okay? You don't exist in my life. You don't bust the trust. It's all about having integrity. Integrity, okay? I shake your hand, you shake my hand, we make a deal. We work together. We all have to make California the best it can possibly be.
How's your relationship with Eric?
Okay, so again, that's Stephen Klubeck, billionaire out there in California, got rich from timeshares, I believe. Eric Swalwell at one point was staying with him, but when the whole intern kerfuffle broke, he kicked Swalwell out, and then he got interviewed about him, was like, Eric who? Don't bust the trust. So that same guy got caught up in his own scandal just a little while ago. Hold on. Let's watch this.
More breaking news as well. A former candidate for governor of California has been arrested. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell joins us now with what we're learning about the charges against Stephen Klubeck. Josh.
Philip, billionaire Stephen Klubeck turned himself into the LA County Sheriff's Department at their West Hollywood station on Tuesday morning on a felony warrant for alleged violation of dissuading or intimidating a witness or a victim of a crime. Eyewitness News has learned that Klubeck was or still is romantically involved with a Los Angeles model named Adva Levi, who also goes by Mia Ventura. That is the same person we've been reporting on for months, who was accused of targeting older men on dating apps and then burglarizing their homes. According to the complaint, Klubeck attempted to prevent at least 2 alleged victims of Levi from testifying against her back in March. Now, back in March, the Los Angeles County District Attorney ordered Adva Levi to stand trial on 6 felony charges. District Attorney Nathan Hochman said her ability to deceptively influence others, whether in person or online, has now come to an end. Detectives say Levi extorted wealthy older men and younger women in Westlake Village, West Hollywood, Los Angeles, and Beverly Hills. They say she posed as a girlfriend or travel companion, then stole cash, credit cards, and high-end designer items.
A travel companion, high-end escort. That's what she was, a high-end escort who was also one of Klubeck's girls. But her whole thing was to go steal from people. So she would meet some of these guys on some of these sugar baby sites, go to their house and steal wallets, car keys, whatever she could get her hands on. She was a thief. Just being able to get money from them directly wasn't enough. She also took money. There was an allegation that she went on one of these podcasts, might have been Fresh and Fit or something like this. And when she had an opportunity, she went into the green room where all the girls had their purses and stole from the purses. So you got Klubeck throwing himself out there and getting arrested for her because I guess you want to protect her for what?
If convicted on all counts, Levi faces up to over 11 years in state prison. Now, Klubeck, he has been released after posting $300,000 bail. Philip?
There it is. So, hey, California is something else, ain't it? Shout out to California. Hey, I got some stuff going on. Hey, imagine that whole story happened while you had Swalwell still running. If Swalwell was still running and living in the house, that would have been something that hit him because, okay, the guy you staying with, his girlfriend is a thief. Were you in on it? Do you know this girl? Did you have any kind of relations with her? It would have been a mess. Okay, now this is going to be Nick Shirley over in Cuba. Part in the Spanish. I'm going to try to translate. Well, I'll just read the captions. But this is Nick Shirley asking a man over in Cuba his thoughts on communism. Now, this is really important to ask people in Cuba how they feel about the system that they live under. How do you feel about communism? Because some are going to say, oh, it's Trump's fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. What about the system of communism? Does this system work? Does this system make sense? Do you like this system? Let's get the answer.
Your thoughts on communism? ¿Qué piensa de comunismo?
Lo más malo que ha existido en la vida. De lo más malo que ha existido en la vida es el comunismo.
So far, you can pretty much tell when he's being asked his thoughts on communism, he says the worst thing to exist in life is communism.
Porque realmente ninguno es comunista.
What do you mean by that? Ninguna.
And what he said was because none of them are really communism. I mean, none of them are really communist. And I think by them, he means the politicians. The politicians live one way while we live a different way.
Enriquecerse y explotar al pueblo.
They get rich and exploit the people.
¿Qué significa eso para ti como no?
Does that mean that what does that mean to you that none of them are communists?
Ninguna comunista. Como que
No. Porque no hay, eso no existe.
It doesn't exist. Communism, the equality, man for man.
El comunismo es la igualdad del hombre por el hombre. Aquí eso no existe.
That doesn't exist here.
Aquí eso no existe. Todos ellos son los que tienen.
They are the ones with everything.
Ellos tienen luz. Ellos tienen los mejores carros del año pisteando. Ellos tienen petróleo. Ellos tienen gasolina. Ellos tienen todo.
They got electricity, cars, gas, all of that. Whatever they want, they got it. And the people have nothing. See, that's how it works, though. The politicians, the big wigs, they got whatever they want. And it's a system of communism. but the regular people don't have anything. There's no gas, there's no electricity. You got cars from, 100 years ago. That's just how life is in Cuba.
Y el pueblo no tiene nada. Y las mayores BPMI son de ellos.
¿Y por qué piensa que gente?
Then he said the majority of the companies are theirs. So they own everything, they control everything, they have all the wealth, and the people have nothing.
BPMI son de ellos.
¿Y por qué piensa que gente defiende el comunismo cuando hemos visto que no funciona?
No funciona. El que defiende el comunismo, nada más que tiene que ser la familia Castro, o alguien que le tenga miedo, o alguien que vive
So people will defend communism if they're part of the Castro family, or you're afraid, or you're making money from them. But if you're not, then it's like, why would you defend them? There's more to that, but shout out to Nick Shirley. That's what the reality is like over in Cuba. People don't want communism. They don't like communism. And I hope they can be freed from that system because it doesn't work. It drags nations down. It makes nations struggle. People think on a sheet of paper that it makes sense. Okay, everybody has what they need. Everybody has, but you're not able to really maintain a society properly like that. That system does not really work in the true sense. People hate it and they want something different. So yeah, shout out to Cuba. Hopefully you guys are able to succeed over there and make something work. Now, okay, we got some action with the trucking industry because you got a bunch of the illegal aliens coming over here, trucking, driving the costs down. Now, what we're going to come in contact with in the future, aside from the illegal aliens, are automated truckers. But we're not quite there yet. You're still going to need human truckers on the road. But the truckers want to get paid what they should be getting paid rather than that diluted wage that happened as a result of the illegal aliens coming in. So what we did in the administration was change something that made an impact on the truckers who were here legally immediately. Watch.
So I'm over here in Eden, Ohio, and there's a bunch of foreigners over here. This guy right here, the guy right next to me, all along in all these trucks, okay? None of them can get loads out of Ohio today. And I was talking to the Iman guy right here while I was in there at the Punjabi place getting something to eat. And he said that the reason that they can't get freight out of Ohio today is because the freight brokers won't work with them anymore, okay? Apparently, what has happened is that yesterday they had the Supreme Court ruling that found brokers could be held liable for accidents with carriers with red flags. Apparently that the trickle-down effect happened like that. Okay, brokers are just saying, no, there's a whole lot of other trucks. We don't need you. We're not going to use you no more. Okay, I was looking up at some of these DOT numbers to these guys, and they do have a pretty substantial track record of unsafe behavior, accidents, high out of service rates, things like that. So guys, here's what I got to say. This is going to be changing in a hurry. Brokers are not just thinking once about it. They're thinking twice, 3, and even 4 times about who they want to work with. If you're an established U.S. carrier, between 1 and 15 trucks, you better hope to God you have a proven track record with these brokers, because they're on the hook now. They're on the hook in ways that they've never experienced before. So guys, all I gotta say is, you better be going and getting your DOT inspections, better be going and asking, way station operators for a level 1, things like that. Get it on record that you're not getting placed out of service, that you're complying with your ELD stuff, things like that, because I'm pretty sure brokers like C.H. Robinson and TQL, they're eventually going to create a system that tracks all this. So, guys, all I got to say is safety first on those highways and byways, and the trucking industry is changing in a hurry.
All right, there we go. Shout out to the truckers. Shout out to the truckers. We got some movement happening with that, so that's always a good thing. The illegal aliens, the problematic operators on the road, they got to get off. They have to get off. Now, the WAYMOs. Okay, let's talk about the WAYMOs. So this guy is in the WAYMO, and the WAYMO is not operating how he'd like it to operate. You're taking them in a long way, maybe even the wrong way, but he's in the car and can't do anything about it. All right, now some of you guys swear by WAYMOs. You love WAYMOs. I see y'all in the comments. I see y'all, and it's okay. But there's some issues. And for me, the technology is a little bit too new. I don't know all of it. It's kind of unregulated. It's kind of the wild, wild west. It could be a dude over in Philippines with flip-flops and tighty-whities driving you around like Miss Daisy remotely. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know him really. He can't really. I don't know if I like that. But let's watch.
Let this be your sign to not take a driverless car, because tell me why. I just booked a WAYMO from the airport to my house. I live 7 to 10 minutes away from the airport. 10 minutes if there's traffic. I am very close to the airport. And I booked this WAYMO, and it wouldn't give me a time estimate for some reason, but I never thought anything of it because in the past I've always used this before, or I've used Uber. It's pretty quick and efficient. I get off the plane, get my bag, go to the pickup area, get in the car, take off, get home, whatever. I get in the car and I hit start, and it says 45 minutes till drop off. And I was like, there's no way. This has got to be like a bug, right? It starts driving me in the direction of my house, which I think is normal. And then it does a U-turn, goes the opposite direction south for 15 minutes, does a little loop through this like parking lot area, and then turns back around north and heads in the direction of my house. I'm still 29 minutes away from my house. And I contacted support and I said, hey, don't know what's going on. Is there any way to reroute this? Is there anything that can be done? This is kind of crazy. Like, I live 7 minutes from the airport. It's telling me 40 minutes till it gets me home. And when you book one of these cars, if you cancel it, then you lose your money. And thankfully she was like, oh, like you can, you know, have it pulled over and you can get out and take an Uber if you want. We'll go ahead and refund you. But I'm like, dog, what are we doing here? Because now I'm freaking in the middle of like a highway area. There's nowhere to pull over here.
Bro, you see, you know what? See, look, I'm gonna stop you right there. See, your first mistake was getting in the WAYMO, because now when there's an issue, you can't necessarily just rectify that. Like, you know, that ain't really, you know, you just got to pretty much get out, try to get a car to pick you up in the middle of, or you're pretty much just stuck in the car. But the first red flag, aside from it being a WAYMO, driverless vehicle, quote unquote driverless, no driver in the car, but a driver somewhere else. The first red flag of this particular thing was when it didn't give you an estimated time. That would have been, okay, y'all got some kind of glitch, some kind of bug going on. Okay, whenever y'all get that worked out, then I might come back. But if it was me, I would not be in that car anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But if you're going to take cars like that, you got to think a little bit ahead of what a potential bug could be. If anything looks kind of fishy or off from what you would normally get when you book it, then I probably wouldn't book it. Now, here they are over in Atlanta. Now, what y'all think is happening here? What do y'all think is really going on? Do you think these WAYMOs are being okay? I have my own theory. I'm gonna say that after I get done.
Video here captured several of the self-driving cars just clogging up a neighborhood cul-de-sac. The people living in the Northwest Atlanta neighborhood say dozens end up circling their community. Channel 2 Steve Gelbach is on one street where they want the WAYMOs to stop.
It's almost every little cul-de-sac around our area, so I think it's a real problem.
WAYMO after WAYMO after WAYMO enter this dead-end street, usually early in the morning.
I think yesterday morning we had 50 cars that came through between 6 and 7.
I have a question. Do you think that these cars are just automatically doing that, or is there somebody remotely driving all these cars? My theory is that you got some guys who are just joyriding at night over in the Philippines, because when it's night there, it's morning here. So they get on their night shift, and before, you know, things get cracking with the rush hour traffic, they go just driving these WAYMOs around for fun, or they're being trained on how to drive around. I don't know, but I think that they are being remotely driven, and they're not just automatically coming out there, because why would there be 50 WAYMOs in one neighborhood just driving around with no passengers? That doesn't make any sense.
Neighbors on Battleview Drive started seeing the autonomous driverless cars 2 months ago, but the groupings and large number of WAYMOs just started circling in and out in the last couple weeks. They even shared video with us when neighbors used this little guy to put him right out here in the street to block the WAYMOs from getting into the cul-de-sac, and you can imagine what happened next.
And we had at one point 8 WAYMOs that were stuck trying to figure out how to turn around.
The WAYMOs are empty and not picking anyone up. Parents are worried, not only calling it excessive, but dangerous.
We're families, we have small kids, we have animals and pets, we've got kids getting on the bus in the mornings, and it just doesn't feel safe to have that traffic.
Neighbors reached out to WAYMO and have not got a response. They've also contacted their council member, representatives, and GDOT and don't know what to do.
What has to happen there is they need to regulate the WAYMOs. They need to contact, was that Google or Uber or a combination of both, and you can't, because this right here, this is obviously something that's being done remotely. This ain't just because they have WAYMO depots. They don't have to just be outside. There's depots they can go get fueled up, meaning they can get charged, it can get cleaned, they can get service, any kind of damage, tires, whatever, they can get all of that service at the depot. So they don't have to be out here, but they're out here, in my opinion, because they're being remotely driven. And it's probably practice for people, or they just out there joyriding. That's my humble opinion. But what do y'all think? I think it's a remote thing or just happenstance. They're just out there like that. Paulie says, my neighbor has one of those exact signs he takes out when his kids are over for the weekend. Yeah, those signs, I've seen quite a few of those signs. They're pretty effective because people like, they like to speed in neighborhoods. So when you see something like that, it's like, okay, you got to slow down. It's a message to you directly to slow down. And you can see that a neighbor put it out, so they really want you to slow down in that area. All right, but what do y'all think? I think it's just, just whatever. What's going on? Okay, now I got to show this. Okay, speaking about the intelligence of machines, how about humans? Can you read? Now, I know you guys seen some of these challenges. There was one guy who did this with some students at his school. He was a student also, and I think they were trying to expel him or something like this. And it was an affiliate school. The kids were struggling to read some basic things, and I think the same cards, the same sentences he was trying to have these kids read, this guy's going to have them read. Matter of fact, hold on, let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. Hold on, Philadelphia school kids read. Let me see. No. Hold on. Yeah. Matter of fact, okay. These cards that he's going to read were the same things that the kids were having to read. Now, what I'm going to do as he presents the card, and you can see it on the screen, I'm going to read it myself. And then we're going to see how they read it, okay? Let's go ahead and watch.
Read the index card.
Now, the deity had a premonition of the impending cataclysmic event. That's what it says. The deity had a premonition of the impending cataclysmic event. That's what the card says. Let's see what she says.
The deity had a something of the impending cataclysmic event.
Read the index card.
She wore it.
Now, before we hold on, matter of fact, I'm gonna just read this. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gauche. Now, some of y'all were keen on that word gauche. That's kind of like an uncommon word. You probably wouldn't know what that means. That's kind of, but okay, silhouette, extraordinary. We can't read those words. Let's see what he says.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were exaggerating, but some were gauche. What does that mean?
Now, okay, what does it mean? She wore a silhouette of clothes. So a silhouette, you're talking about a silhouette like a shadow or sheer. So I'm thinking like Rihanna, when she had that sheer outfit on some years ago that got lampooned by Family Guy when Peter Griffin had it on. It's the same kind of thing. A silhouette of clothes. The clothes were extraordinary, great, more than ordinary. They stand out, extraordinary. but somewhat gauche. Now, gauche, I don't know. I think that could be like tacky. I might be wrong about what the word gauche means, but the rest of that is pretty simple to understand.
Somewhere gauche. What does that mean? You tell me. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. I was dropped out of high school.
Read the index card.
Now, this one says the dog's unwavering loyalty exemplified in unreciprocated emotional dependency. The dog's unwavering loyalty exemplified in unreciprocated emotional dependency.
The dog's unwavering loyalty. No, don't even. I can't read it.
Read the index card.
She wore a Sylvia of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat a gooch.
What does it mean?
A gooch?
No, what's the sentence mean? Read the index card.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, out somewhat gauche.
We're just gonna move on to the next person. Read the index card.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat gouache.
So she did the best out of everybody. So far, she did the best out of everybody. She was the best reader. The gouache, I mean, that's a kind of a word that might be a little hard, but the rest of that was pretty simple.
But somewhat gouache.
What does that mean?
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary but somewhat
gouache.
That's what that means.
Okay.
All right, there we go. So, how did you guys do? Did you read along?
Gauche.
Gauche. Let's go. Let's do this. Well, I was trying to pronounce it on Google, but it gave me the French pronunciation. And somebody was saying, well, these French words aren't very common. Well, I think they said up to 70, at least 25 to 70% of the English language is derived from French. A lot of words we say all the time are French derivative or straight up French. Silhouette, obviously French. What's another French, directly French word? I'm thinking about one right now. Espionage. That's a French word. It's a lot of French words we say all the time in regular everyday language. But how'd y'all do on the reading? Did you do well? Did you do poorly? And those were adults. The one that went viral, it was with kids in the school. I think they might have been like 8th grade or something like this, or it might have been high schoolers. I don't know. So that was with kids, but these are full grown adults. I shudder to see the future when these kids when these adults, when these kids or young people become older and they still can't read. AI can't do everything for you. AI can't do everything. Like at a certain point, you got to have some skills in your own. You know, you got to have some skills in your own. And now and not only must you understand how to read, you understand triage. That's something else. Yep, French word. You must not only know how to read, but you must have reading comprehension. When you're reading something, do you even know what it means? It's purposeless to read something and not understand what you're reading. Just being able to say the words don't mean nothing. You got to understand it. You got to be able to get it. So when you're reading the book, you're reading the article, when you're reading anything, you got to be able to consume the content properly. But if you can't read, then you can't consume content properly. Paulie says kids these days can't even type. They use speech to text. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. So I got it right, Michelle. Michelle says they used that word a lot when I was young. I'm 70 now. Basically means tacky. There we go. Yeah. You can't read, you can't think. That's right, River Spirit. David One says the French derived words in English give me deja vu. There you go. They're going right there. Okay, absolutely. Okay, Mr. Hawkslight says gauche or go. Maybe I'm saying it wrong too. Says, and it's an adjective used to describe someone or something that lacks social grace, sensitivity, or tact. There we go. So tacky. There we are. All right, let me see here. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Dan Lin Wong says, my housekeeper, an older Irish American, my house painter, an older Irish American told me wallpaper is now considered gauche. There we go. Shout out to the wallpaper. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. XRTX says, I used to read Reader's Digest when I was a kid, along with my mom's AP books. I used to read that as well, Reader's Digest. I used to read that. I used to read whatever I can get my hands on because I felt like education was the way out the hood. So once I become educated, once I can just learn, I'm going to be okay in my life. And I felt like if you didn't have education, you were just going to be destined to poverty. You're going to be in the hood forever. The guys I know that like to go to jail a lot will be the ones that can't read, will be the ones that don't have any education. They don't know anything else other than being out on the street, thugging and drugging. If they understood how to read and do certain things, then maybe they wouldn't be going to the penitentiary all the time. I think people now rely upon the state to take care of them and also technology, but you can't totally rely upon that because you become dependent upon it. And when the government says, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to have less of an ability to have any kind of autonomy because you are dependent upon others to do things for you. Be as independent as possible to prevent that from being your everyday life, being controlled by the state or technology or whatever the case may be. All right. We got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. That's right, Nova Mike. Nova Mike says, and they're the one thing, they're the smartest people. Yep. I think they're the smartest ones. Meanwhile, they can't read. How smart can you be when you can't read it all? Thank you to Ron Henderson who says, ABL say woosah. Hey, I had to calm down, didn't I? Thank you to Smooth Artist who says, Chud The Builder chimped out, LOL. That's funny. Thank you to The Road Stories who says, ABL Israel #2 on Eurovision. All right, shout out to them. Thank you to Miss Hattie Lou Pettyford who says, Chud has free speech, but harassing innocent people isn't lawful. In New York, verbal harassment can be treated as assault. I carried mail in Manhattan 30 years, and union reps threaten grievances over yelling, cursing supervisors. There you go. Thank you, Jay Briggs, for becoming part of the ABL squad. I appreciate you. Thank you to Dane Lane Wong, who says, I was Navy cook from 97 to 2017. Long time. Retiring as Chief Petty Officer E7. I'm not a strategist, but the Iran war proves a lesson of history. Air and naval power alone don't win wars, even for a superpower. Wars are won on the ground. There you go. I believe you might be right about that. Thank you to Wildlife's Rough, who says, don't you think we have so many reprobates that think they could do whatever they want against God? Half the population has no morals or integrity. Lying liars who lie. Now we are suffering the consequences. Well, you're right about that. You are right on point. Thank you to Ron Henderson who says, Pratt had a slip of integrity with the ad. I agree. JB says, the city clerk's office says candidates were required to be registered to vote in LA and be residents of the city by January 3rd, 26. Pratt says his legal residence is still the lot in the Palisades. Okay, I'll see. So that's where you live, but you don't live there. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of like, that's a deceptive thing. Now, I get at your address, but see, that's like when people say they live in a certain place and they don't for other purposes. Okay, well, in order to get this kind of benefit or to go to this school or to do this or do that, I'm going to say I live right there when I don't live right there. See, that's called deception. Now, sometimes some may think it's okay to engage in deception, but at one point, is it not okay to engage in deception? At what point is it just called lying? At what point is it just called fraud? You know, people do little white lies and stuff all the time. But at what point does a white lie, at what point does something like that just become fraud? Y'all let me know. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, let's keep rocking and rolling. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287 is the number to call. Your Reader's Digest was really good. It was that one science magazine. I forget the name of that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, any kind of magazine like that from the 90s. What was that science magazine? I would read Popular Science. I was that kid. I read Popular Science. I could be in a doctor's office and they got Popular Science, Reader's Digest. I'm gonna read that. Whatever I was able to get my hands on, I read it. Anything. I would go to the library. I read magazines. What was another one? It was a bunch of magazines like that in the 90s, but they don't make magazines no more, really. It was one, I think it was not National Geographic. Was it National Geographic? I think it was National Geographic. I used to read that too. Yeah, National Geographic, Reader's Digest, Popular Science, anything like that I can get my hands on. I'm with it. I'm reading it. A TV guide, I read that too. In the bathroom, especially, that's good. That's good bathroom reading. Hey, you be in your grandma's house, in the bathroom, it'd be a whole magazine rack in there. This is before the phones for the young people. This is before the phones, because now what you do when you go to the bathroom and you got to sit down in the bathroom, you're going to be on your phone. But back then, you had any kind of reading material would be in there. A newspaper, a TV guide, a National Geographic, and it'd be a rack in the bathroom with magazines in it, with books and stuff in it for your reading pleasure while you in the bathroom. Yep. No more, though, because everybody's on their phone. Hey, that's what I want to do. I want to bring back the magazine rack in the bathroom. No phones. Just read this TV guide right quick. Of course, I watched Reading Rainbow growing up. I watched Reading Rainbow, Sesame Street, anything like that. Those are the two big ones I remember. Reading Rainbow and Sesame Street. LeVar Burton, I remember him being on Reading Rainbow. Yeah. Back before they got woke and they brought these drag queens and stuff like that on Sesame Street. My Sesame Street was the best. What they got now, I don't know nothing about that. Okay, of course, Sports Illustrated, when I got to be later. Yeah, like when I got to be like teenager age, you got Sports Illustrated. Yeah, Nintendo Power. Of course. Once I got to be older, Nintendo Power, like video game magazines, PC Gamer. Back when they had like the free CDs, you could get a free demo on a disc before Steam and all that came out. You could get Wolfenstein. This is like in the early 90s, like probably like 94, 95. I might have been like 10, 11 years old. But before that, I was reading straight up National Geographic and stuff like that when I was real young. Electric Company, Playboy. Y'all was reading. So y'all shouldn't have been reading no Playboy or Sports Illustrated. Y'all was doing a little bit too much. Y'all was reading that early. I was not reading that until I got to be like almost high school age. Yeah, I didn't do that. I did not do that. Okay, People Magazine. Yep, that's another one. People Magazine. Some of you guys may have read Sun, like the tabloid they had, which was purely entertainment. Okay, did they ever find Cave Boy? Did they ever find Elvis? You know, stuff like that. You could read that like in the checkout line. Of course, I had comic books, X-Men, Avengers, all of that. Had comic books. Yeah, I was the kind of kid. My mom told me a story. She said that when I was like second grade, I was going to a birthday party. One of my friends in the neighborhood, I guess, and I asked my mom, "Can I bring my book with me?" Because I had like books, like Animal stuff like that. I was like, "Can I bring my book with me?" I'm trying to go to the party, but okay, we're gonna have cake and stuff, but can I also bring my book? That was my thing. Ebony and Jet, of course. Ebony and Jet, yes. Jet Beauty of the Week. Matter of fact, I know one of the Jet Beauty of the Week photographers. Some of my friends, I know probably about 2 girls that were Jet Beauty of the Week. I almost say no names, but y'all know who you are. Y'all watch. One of my friends that was Jet Beauty of the Week watches my show. So shout out to you if you're watching. But yeah, some of them girls will come from Virginia later, because my friends is like, 40s, 30s. But yeah, Jet Beauty of the Week, Jet Magazine in general. Jet was a really good magazine. Is Jet still around? That was a good magazine. Not just Beauty of the Week, but it was a good magazine. What else? Ebony. There's also a thing called the Black Pages. Now, I knew the guy that did the Black Pages in North Carolina, a dude named Jerry. Shout out to Jerry. So yeah, a lot of those publications I was familiar with. We had a subscription at one point at Jet and Ebony. And my grandma and them, they would have Ebony magazines for years. You go to your grandma's house, you get a fresh Ebony on the table and a Jet. Always. Black Enterprise, thank you. It was Black Enterprise. Black Enterprise, but Black Pages, but also Black Enterprise before they got bought, I think. Yep. The Black Pages, what it was an index of Black-owned businesses. Yep, legitimate magazine. And Black Pages, Ebony, and Jet, Black Enterprise, Ebony, and Jet were just like that a little bit because they will also list black businesses. Because if you got a black magazine, who's paying you for advertisements? It's probably not a white company. They have some white companies in there. Maybe it'd be a cigarette ad or something like that. But beyond that, you got a lot of black businesses that'll give you the advertisement. And you stay afloat that way. Just like when BET came out, they did not get much in advertisement. I think one of the guys from BET, it was not Bob Johnson, said that they were getting $25 for an on-air ad when they first started. $25. Not $25,000, not $2,500, $25. Because who are you getting? You getting small mom and pop shops. There's not a lot of money there. 501, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Robert.
All righty, what's going on?
Not too much. I was actually waiting to see if anybody else was gonna call in.
Oh, okay.
But so I live in Texas, so I don't have no skin in the game on what goes on in California or whatnot. But as far as like the whole Spencer Pratt thing, I don't really think he was being dishonest, and the reason being is, number one, the Palisades is part of LA, not LA County, but the city of LA. So obviously that's why Karen Bass, went to the Palisades with Trump, and they did the whole community talk, like right after he right after he won the nomination back in early January. But as far as him stating that, he lives in the Palisades, which that is his address, regardless of if, he has a trailer on the house, because he also explained in that TMZ interview that he did, if you listen later on, that because they kept asking him, oh, so where do you actually live? Do you live in a hotel? Do you live in Santa Barbara? So he was saying, hey, my home is in Palisades. I'm temporarily, staying at the hotel, and I'm also staying temporarily, in Santa Barbara. And another one of the issues that he had was he's saying that he's getting doxxed, that people are trying to kill him. So, I mean, I wouldn't stay in the trailer if people are trying to kill me neither. And also during that interview, he mentioned that because they asked me about the power and the water and all that stuff, and he actually, told them that the people who came out not that long ago, and they actually hooked it up like maybe 1 to 2 days, prior to that interview. So again, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's false, but I mean, I think that overall, he's been way more honest than Karen Bass or the other female, because if Karen Bass stays in there, I mean, she's literally not going to do anything good for the people of LA. And the other lady, she's already got her plans of making it even worse, making it worse than what Karen Bass is doing.
Well, we're going to see. Hopefully that they get the right person in there. Karen Bass and them not doing the best job. So if Spencer Pratt is able to succeed and he can make things better, then shout out to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have no skin in the game. I'm just trying to keep James Talarico out of Texas. So, because we don't need him ruining anything here.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, did you ever try the dry brine on the steak?
I've not done that yet. I've not had a steak that I cooked since then, but once I cook my next steak, I'm gonna try that method, and I'm gonna let you know.
All right. Also, have you ever heard of the MSG?
No, what's that?
So MSG is, I guess, what they kind of use in like Chinese food.
Oh, you mean the ingredient?
It's kind of like a salt, but it has some other stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like if you do, I'm gonna just keep it real. Just try it with the regular salt first, and then if you ever go out and buy like some MSG, try to dry brine it that way and see which one tastes best. But I just tried it with the MSG, and it did taste, better because it has that umami flavor to it.
Okay.
But that's all I got, man. You have a good night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta try that. So he was talking about the dry brine method with his steak, because I'm a big steak guy. I love steak. Steak is one of the best proteins, and I noticed like physically how I look different with the steak protein in my diet more. I do like a lot of fish, but since I included steak more, I definitely see a difference. I definitely see a difference in how I look physically and how I feel. And also I can eat steak and fast the next day much easier because it stays in your stomach. But you getting like the same amount of protein, and if you get low fat, it's good on that. Like it's really good. It's really, really good. Shout out to the steak. I had some steak yesterday. I had some steak from Firebird's Grill. I had a New York strip, 14 ounce with some broccoli. Oh, medium rare. Oh, it was so good. It was beautiful. 509, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Shelly from Washington State.
All righty, what's going on?
Where were you on Wednesday?
I'm sorry. Like I thought I was going to be able to do a show, but I didn't have enough. So I said, okay, I probably should just not do my show today and wait till Saturday. But I won't do that. I won't do that to you no more.
Okay. Yeah, we're dying up here in Washington. These Democrats, they're not Democrats anymore. They're commies. Like, Bob Ferguson went against our Constitution trying to pass an income tax. And I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Now he's saying they're going to redistrict, and our state is so blue, mail-in voting only. I mean, it's just cheating on cheating, but God's exposing these people, so hopefully something will happen. I just feel so bad for the younger generation because they don't even know what's going on. They think things are free. They're not free.
Exactly. They have no idea. They don't understand the way things really work. They just think, hey, I can just get whatever I want.
Yeah, and I saw some people writing that they're coming to Washington State to start over to get the free stuff, and it's just like, I think they have 5,000 programs or something to help people out, and it's just like, and then we have that mayor, Katie Wilson, who's a commie too, so, I mean, I've been here my whole life. I don't want to, it's faith over fear, but I think that, a lot of people are moving and stuff, but you know what? I think that we're in a spiritual warfare. This stuff is taking over our country. Those people, they ruined states. Colorado, Oregon, all the blue states, Connecticut. I mean, once they get control, you don't have a choice anymore. And I think that's just what we're gonna see, because they move to Texas, they move everywhere. They can't. I wish they could just stay in one state or two states or whatever and just be lunatics. I don't care if they're lunatics. I just don't want them making decisions because they're incompetent clowns. I have never seen such fraud in my entire life, and it's really scary. But I like Spencer Pratt. I think he's great. I watched him when he was on the Heels back in the day, and I hated him on that show. He was a villain, and but like his videos and stuff, they're so uplifting. And you got to figure if he told one little lie about a trailer or something. Look at Karen Bass. You think she's really going to buy teeth for meth addicts?
Hey, she said it. I wouldn't doubt it because you got an NGO attached to it. So, hey, there's money to be made. They'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, just the stuff they come up with, it's like, I don't understand it. It's like, it doesn't even make any sense. Their ideas are stupid. Did you see that Kamala video where she was drunk and saying that they need to brainstorm?
I I didn't quite see that one, but I wouldn't be surprised at how she speaks because that's typical Kamala. You know, a little bit too much wine, and she get to talking.
Yeah, you got to watch it. It's funny. She don't say much of anything. She's talking about getting rid of the electrical college or whatever it's called, and she's talking about packing the Supreme Court and doing all these people are telling you exactly what they're going to do. Their projection is just amazing, you know. But I'm just hanging out. I own, you know, pretty much own my own house and have my own job, and you know, but I wanted to move too, but even Idaho's getting bad, and when you've been somewhere for 60 years, you know, it's hard to leave. Because we got a great state. It's a beautiful state as long as you're not on the west side in Seattle and that kind of stuff. Or Spokane is even bad now. I mean, it's just spreading out. But I think the devil's on the move, and we're not going to be able to run from him. We got to stand up and fight.
I agree. I definitely agree because, you know, you can only do so much leaving because at a certain point, there won't be anywhere left to go.
Yeah, and I'm just amazed at how damaging, and the media, like, they want communism. That's what they want. The Democrats are no longer Democrats. They are commies, Marxists. They want us to be like that because they want all the money so that we live in squalor, you know. I mean, the taxes, like Bob Ferguson, the weasel, raised our taxes the highest in our state history, like $10 billion, and now they're still saying they're short. Plus, they're going to add an income tax and a millionaire tax. Just their ideas are just stupid. So now all the companies are leaving the area.
Yep.
I just hope more people wake up. But I love watching you. I'm usually in the chat all the time, and you just make me laugh. You're a good person.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Okay, you take care, ABL.
Same to you now.
Bye.
Bye. All right, shout out to her. Great call. And a lot of true words spoken. Like, you know, I tell people you got to go where it makes sense. But, hey, what we can't have is these places become infiltrated by the element we're trying to leave. So if we're going to go somewhere, we got to fortify it, which means don't California my Texas, and so on. 310, you're live. Who am I speaking to?
This is Ron from Georgia. How you doing, ABL?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Doing okay. Oh, man. It's a big week for our president in China. Man, like I said, they rolled out the red carpet for him and his whole entourage. But, yeah, it is a struggle. You know, it's like I said, it's dog against dog right there, big dog against big dog. And we know our president is on top. You know, he's not bowing and groveling and anything like that. He's trying to make a deal. But, you know, for America, you know, it just, and I also was impressed with China with their precision. Man, I looked at all those soldiers and everything like that. I noticed that one thing that struck me kind of funny is that all those hats, they're all cocked at the same angle all the way down, man. And those guys they're marching, you know, in sync and everything like that. Even the traffic cops, nobody's out of line. They, as like you said, they got strict authoritarian going on there. And that's, you know, if America's not careful, that's how we would be as far as like in our state. Everybody have to be walking on eggshells because of the 20 cameras on every corner and everything like that, watching who's doing what and everything. And it's crazy, you know, even to the point that right now, you know, you hear some of these apartment buildings, you know, that you got to pay for a key to get into your apartment. You pay $2,500 a month to get into an apartment, and then you got to pay another $85 just to have the key card to get in there, you know, a month on top of that to get into your apartment, to get into the building. What kind of stuff is that going on? You know, I mean, I know we're a capitalistic country, but if I had to pay an additional fee just to get into my apartment, that's kind of crazy. But, you know, these are things that get ready to come into our our country right now. Ever so slowly, and if people need to wake up. These are some of the things, some of the issues that they need to present to their local mayors and city councils and everything to make this so that'd be illegal. You pay for a spot, hey, you got to get in there. You know what I'm saying? You got to get in there. It's not another way of trying to get in there. All these here keyless entries and everything. You got to open up to get in with a phone app and everything like that. Also, it could be used against you. You don't pay your rent. Hey, you're not getting in there either. So yep. I thought that was illegal. You know what I'm saying? but it's just showing that even the past generation, some of the people that graduated from schools, they still can't read. It's sad. They still can't read. And this generation that's coming through right now, they definitely can't read. Definitely cannot read. It has been proven, and there's scientific facts saying that because all these people getting all these here, you give your kids these cell phones that that at the time that they're a baby, they got their iPads and everything like that. That's too much stimulation for their brain, and it does not cause them to have any cognitive development because of that. I can tell you from my life experience, 5 kids. The last 2 didn't have a cell phone till they was 18. They did work on computers and everything like that, but they did not have a cell phone. And I picked them up from school and we brought them back. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have all this here craziness that's going on today. And in fact, they're level-minded people. They know how to talk, know how to look you in the eyes, speak it to you, and everything else. But these days, these kids, man, they can't have a conversation. That's why they can't, reason or anything like that. It's sad, the way our nation is going. And yes, just like that lady said, it is a spiritual war going on in our nation, in our country. Black America was freed with the Supreme Court decision. That was a freedom call. We are not in a monolith. You cannot just cut us out and say that and we have not lost any rights. I can still vote no matter what. I can still vote for whomever I want. But you just don't have to put us all in the same glass jar and say that these are my people. You're going to vote this way and everything like that. No, we've been represented by whoever the best candidate is. Like I said, it's a merit base, and they don't want to be merit based. That's why we got so many idiots running around here, because it's not merit based. It's how much money can you pay to get into that office, then how much money can you steal once you get in that office. It's crazy. And another thing that I'm kind of distraught about, as far as like when you look at people who making big money like that Grizzly forward Brandon Clark, dead at 29. Here's this man, $52 million contract and more in his life, and at 29, found deceased in his own place, and yet this guy is out there selling, dope. What's that all about? What is that all about? I mean, you got all the money that you want, and yet you want to go ahead and poison your own people, poison society, and do these here things that do not make any sense. And this is what's going on with people today. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? How much money do you need? But not only that, how come you can't just go ahead and be satisfied with clean money instead of money that's actually defiled money? You're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting somebody else. But the thing about it like this is that, when you, the poison that you meant for somebody else became the poison for you. It's sad. It's sad. It's poison that's meant for you. People, we need to understand something. The enemy do not love your soul. He is out to destroy you. America, there are people in our country right now, here and now, that is out to destroy our nation. We need to stand firm, stand tall, stand correct, live right, do right, be right for our family and our nation. Love our country. Love yourself. Please pray. Pray for your president. Pray for his cabinet. Pray for everybody. Pray for our soldiers abroad and at home, our policemen. We need to represent law and follow the law and do what's lawful, not only biblically, but even societal. And don't buy into all this crazy stuff that people are trying to say that is normal. We want normality, not depravity. This is what we need today. Brother, I'm on a rant today, you know. I had so much bottled up. I don't want to keep on going, beloved. You know, I just love you, bro. You still dear to my heart, man. I tell you, man, I really want a fellowship with you someday. And I believe that we will have that day. I believe that we'll have that day. And to the chat, hey, we got to continue to pray for our country, man. Everyone, to make that a choice. Life is about choices. That's a good call. That's a good choice. Love. God bless you, my brother. I love you guys. You take care, okay, bro?
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You too, ABL. Bye-bye.
All right, great call. Fantastic call. Shout out to you guys again for rocking and rolling with me. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. 215 if you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, can you hear me loud and clear?
I hear you well.
Okay. Hey, you know what's crazy, ABL? About this Chud the Builder case. So, you know, it's funny. I'm hearing a lot of people keep trying to say that with Chud the Builders, well, not a lot of people, just a few people who want to try to defend what Chud the Builder did, or saying, oh, black people shouldn't be so sensitive about the N-word, which they're kind of right, but that's not the case. It's the simple fact that I don't hear nobody saying that the fact that Chud the Builder is out in public, he's filming people directly without their consent. So he's already in the wrong. What do you think about that?
The thing is, he's just an agitator. People are looking at it like it's a matter of free speech and you shouldn't get mad about a word. It's not about the word. You could have said anything. It's just a matter of agitating. You could agitate somebody without saying any words. People just use that as a way to try and shame people into not being offended when they are agitated with that particular word. But that's just not the way it works. People want to be able to agitate somebody and get away with it. They want to be able to embarrass them right in front of their face and get away with it. This has been a thing that I've been seeing for a very long time. And then when they can't get away with it, then they want to play the victim. But see, how about this? How about we just leave people alone? Don't agitate anybody. Don't get in anybody's personal space. Just leave people be. Regardless of what words you say, just leave people alone. And then there will be no confusion about why people are upset.
Yeah, and it's like, and for people who try to justify what Chud the Builder did, I tell people, like, it's the fact that he's, like you said, he's agitating people. He's trying to get a reaction out of people. He's trying to provoke confrontation. And with his tweets getting exposed saying that he was basically going to go out and try to kill somebody if they keep playing with him or something like that. So now they're probably going to use that as evidence in court.
Oh, of course. Of course they're going to use it. They're going to use all of that. They're going to use his social media. They're going to use his videos. They're going to use everything. And it's going to be a slam dunk case. It's going to be open and shut. Plus, the shooting happened right in front of the courthouse. So you got the cameras from the courthouse. The cops were on the scene and they interviewed him. He admitted that he had went up to them after they were just talking about him. So he already torpedoed the whole case. Everything he said to the cops, everything he said on the social media, everything he wrote on the social media will come back, be used against him, and it'll sink him.
Exactly. You know what's crazy though? What got me is the fact that he was I think he was going to court because he ran out on a restaurant bill. But what happened was when I was listening to the video, you could clearly hear the manager say, "No, you're gonna pay for your food and then you're gonna leave." And Chud was like, "You sure about that?" So obviously he had no intentions of paying to begin with. He was just trying to incite something. So he already knew what he was doing. So, but then he tried to say, well, they kicked me out the restaurant and they wouldn't let me pay. But it's like, hello, Chud, you recorded the whole interaction and it was live. See, that's the thing about people like him is like when you're live, people can screen record stuff. It's live. It's there on the internet forever. It's like so many people seem like they they try to play the victim, but they forget that it's on the internet. We can search it up.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, come on, man. Like we saw you do this live. Like, don't even try to lie like that. And see, the thing about it, people like him think that they're smart and think that they could just get over on people and manipulate people. But obviously, people like him are not smart because he's already been to jail before. He was in court previously for the restaurant thing in Nashville. He was going to court in Clarksville for something else. So this guy is a jailbird. You always going to court. You always getting locked up. You're always in trouble. This is just your most recent thing you did. That's all.
Yeah. And it's one more last thing is he's, like you said, he's not as smart as he thinks he is. And one thing about the First Amendment is I learned is like it protects you from government tyranny. So like if you can say whatever you want and the government can't prosecute you for it. But it's like, you know, like I said before, you can go up to a black person and, you know, say the N-word, but it's like that's not gonna stop. You might say, oh, you're too sensitive and whatnot, but when you get punched in the face and you're getting beat up, I mean, like they told us at school, don't talk smack if you can't back it up.
Exactly. Man, that should be simple because you don't have any reason to approach anybody and say anything out the way. You go about your life, they're going about theirs. I never in my life have gone up to somebody in the street and just start talking crazy, start talking offensive, saying offensive things, doing things that are offensive, doing things that are obstructive, doing things that are annoying to people. Who does that? Nobody does that other than people that smoke crack for a living or people that are trying to just get money from confrontations like this guy.
Yeah, and sorry, I don't mean to. I'm gonna say this. Ask this one last question. I'm gonna hang up. So you basically, as I figured before, he walked up to the guy.
Yes, because he said it himself. He confessed to doing that because right after the situation, he's talking to cops on his live stream, and he said that I'm outside the courthouse and I saw some guys pointing and laughing at me, and he goes up to him and engages in the conversation. That becomes a argument, and then as the argument is happening, he blades his body and reaches for his weapon. So before there was any kind of physical confrontation, he's the one that reached for the weapon, which caused the confrontation to escalate into physical, which then became a shooting.
Makes perfect sense. All right, well, thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, you have a good night.
Same to you. Yes, when you're in public, you are in public. You have no expectation of privacy, but just because you're in public does not give someone the license to harass you. That's not the way that works at all. Just so we're clear. I know you guys know that, but not everybody knows that. Again, some of y'all, you know what I mean? It's just anyway. 803, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Rob from South Carolina. How you doing?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Good. I was just, I missed your show earlier. I was doing some stuff out in the race shop and doing laundry. But anyway, I wanted to comment on one thing. Your other caller talked about personal space and people in public. I had something happen to me in North Carolina. I was in an event, and it was an outdoor event at a racetrack, and the fellows walked up in front of me where I couldn't see. So I said, "Sir, you can't stand there." And he turned around and grabbed my arm. I was sitting in a chair. He's standing up. Now I can't use my hand to defend myself. And he said, "What, you don't like me?" I said, "I didn't say that. I said, just can't stand there." So when he looked at me, I was praying the whole time. I said, what am I going to say or do? And he let go of my arm and left. And meanwhile, my friend sitting next to me, I guess he had my back. I said, man, if the guy punched me, I'm sitting down and he's leaning over me. But I've never had that happen to me, ever. So people are weird, It's like there's 2,000 people there and I get the one weirdo in the crowd. I don't know if that's ever happened to you or whatever, but it's a strange situation.
Yeah, I've had those kind of incidents, similar things like that kind of start to happen around me. And it's a weird situation because it puts me in an awkward situation. I'm not trying to get in any kind of trouble. I'm not trying to have this guy do something to me or me do something to him. I don't want to have to go to court and deal with the police and all of that kind of stuff. So it was always something that I rather would not deal with. But hey, I've definitely been there before, and nobody likes that kind of person. It doesn't matter where they're from, how they look, what color they are. No one likes a weird person invading their personal space.
Right, and I've never had anybody touch me before. And you know how people are nowadays, you know, in personal space, 18 inches, 2 foot from your face? You know, because some people are, those close talkers or something?
Yeah.
But I ain't never had nobody grab my arm. And, you know, being in the military, I said, man, now I'm down to left-handed. But I was already thinking, you know, to jump up and tackle them or whatever, you know, there was going to be something happening, right? But when I looked at him, and, you know, you just pray for that millisecond that, Lord, let this crazy person move out of the way and just go about his business.
Yes.
Because I'm not looking to be violent. I'm the opposite. I'm the easiest person to get along with. And then also, you know, my daughter's a high school teacher. She took $300 out of her account to feed her students to take the AP classes so they would score better, because a lot of them can't afford to eat breakfast. And, of course, they have free breakfast at school, but they don't have transportation, so they ride the bus, and they only have like 2 minutes to grab a Pop-Tart. So, you know, and those kids, there's a lot of good kids out there. You know, not to be negative about everybody in public, but a lot of good kids, so they don't get any credit. Matter of fact, there was a gentleman broke down on the road today. I stopped to help him, and he was about 22 years old, had a landscaping company with pulling his trailer with the lawnmowers. And I said, man, can I help you? And his neighbor showed up. Anyway, we got him out of the highway and whatnot, but you know, I just think people need to take a chill pill, respect everybody. If you have a different opinion, let's just agree to disagree without getting violent, without burning down a city, and just get real, you know? Like your caller said, you know, you got to keep the big picture in mind. We're only here for a short period of time. You know, life is like a vapor. It's, you know, like a blink of an eye compared to, you know, the internal, you know, the God that created everybody. He don't go by time and space or matter, you know. So I'm not going to bore y'all with my speech, but I would wish everybody a great Sunday. Go to church, get back in the Word, and have a great day. God bless y'all.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Great call. Shout out to the caller. Fantastic call. Yeah, man, that's the moral of the story. Like, personal space, I don't like bothering people. I don't like nobody bothering me. I don't like bothering people. No, I don't like it. 520, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, hi, ABL. It's Marina. How are you?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Doing just great, thank you. Great show again, as usual. I actually was calling you. I have a couple of questions for you. We talk a lot about the white and black issues in America, and we talk a lot about that. And I mean the United States of America. I know some people don't like me to say America because they say, is it north or south when I talk in Europe? So anyway, why is this white and black issue so prevalent lately? And why do you think is that? And also, who do you think is behind this propaganda of pro-Palestinian, against Palestinian, pro-black, against black, pro-white, this and Netanyahu, and we see this all around Europe too, and other places like Australia. So that's question number one. Do you also think, or my question should be, who do you think benefits from these confrontations or these things like this? do they also affect votes and elections around places like Europe, around the US for sure, and in places like Australia and New Zealand? What do you think? I wanted your opinion, and I've talked enough. I want you to tell me what you think.
Okay, so to answer your question about, it's a lot. I'm gonna try to remember. So give me a second. I think it's about the black and the white. Who's starting that? I think some people in this country are still stuck in the past where that was a big thing, because of course we have a history here with slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow segregation. People are still stuck in the past thinking about that, and people cater to those who are still stuck in the past and making content for those people. And the reason why they do it is because they can make money, and there's also a way to divide, because a lot of politicians will try to use that old wound. They'll pick at that old wound for their own political purposes. An example, in Louisiana, they're doing redistricting. They're drawing new districts to create another Democratic district and or to protect Democratic districts so they could get more power in a U.S. government. And then they'll say, well, the reason why we're doing this is to maintain a black area, a black voting block. But really, it's not about a black voting block. In the case of Memphis, Tennessee, that particular district was a white Jewish guy by the name of Steve Cohen who was over that. So how was that a black district? It doesn't make any sense. It is a lie designed to keep power. So when you're talking about who's behind it, of course, a lot of politicians, those who were trying to make money, and the same thing can be said for other parts of the world. You may go to Europe, may go to Australia. It could be the same thing going on. People trying to make money because it gets attention and also political power.
Okay, what surprised me the most, I do understand quite a bit. I've been here in the United States. In fact, this August, it will be 26 years I've lived here. So I understand that the history, part of it, of course, not 100%, but I understand that part. But why is Europe lately started doing this division between black, white, this, that, and the other? It doesn't matter what it is, there's division all over the place. That's another thing that I was very curious to see what you understood from that.
Well, as far as Europe, it could be similar to what's happening here in the United States. It could be a power thing, but also over there, you have cultures that are coming together that have not been together in a while or ever before. So now there's cultural issues that are going on. Sometimes they can be disguised or seen as being about color, but it's not really about color. It's about cultural issues.
That's true. That makes sense, because when I was a child, you know, back in the early 70s, I saw division between French and Italian, French and Portuguese, French and Spanish. So I do understand what you mean, yes, which we don't see now as much, but we do see more North African, South African, and certainly Romanian or Polish versus the original French. So yes, it makes sense. It's not always about color. That's right. That's right. And looking forward, what do you think will resolve this? Looking forward 10, 15, 20 years, if we're going to look forward in the U.S., I'm only going to talk about the U.S., how do you see we can, who can come in to power after Donald Trump, etc., and how can we resolve this problem that's just dividing here, dividing there? Yeah.
Well, what can be done is that you have more education. That's going to solve it, is the education, because a lot of the problems right now come from a lack of knowledge. And people are easily manipulated to believe something that's not true. Once we get more knowledge, more information, more education, that can begin to solve the issues of division, because the issues of division are caused by lack of information, ignorance.
Yes. Yes. No, I understand exactly what you just said. That was my only answer. If anybody asked me, I would say education. Go and do some TED Talks, this and that and the other. In schools, we could teach. Yes, I believe education is part of the key. Now, I'm almost done. My last question is, what do you have to add to what I asked you? What else would you add to these issues?
I would just say one thing that I think that we're always trying to improve as people, and I would be hopeful for the future. There's a lot of young people who have the right idea. Some of them don't have the right idea, but a lot of them do have the right idea. So for the future, I'm hopeful.
Yes. Well, I absolutely think that things like Nick Shirley is doing is absolutely fantastic. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful young man. There are people here and there doing the right things. We just don't have that complete wave yet. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, ABL, I will not keep you any longer. I love talking to you, and thank you for answering my questions and enlightening me a little bit about that, too. Take care. Until next time.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Take care.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's go to some more here. Okay, I had somebody, but maybe it was a little bit too close to the trigger. If you call back, like right now, I'll pick you up, but it's way past my bedtime. It's like 11:21 on the East. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate you rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Let's go. Let's make it to 317.
It's Tom W. Spoken to you many times. I saw your thing on Chud yesterday, and I just want to know, because I know this is racially, like, emotionally charged for you, but let's just say if the shoe was on the other foot, right? Meaning, for example, if a black guy went up to a bunch of white guys and said a bunch of things that offended them, and then they attacked him and beat him, and he was defending himself, and then he pulled out a gun and fired, would you say that that black guy should go to jail for life or however long you thought?
Well, let's rephrase the question properly, because in this case, that's not quite what happened. What happened here, from what the affidavit says, is that there was a verbal altercation. And during the verbal altercation, Chud bladed his body and then reached for his weapon before any kind of physical altercation happened. Chud said that the guy hit him, but the affidavit said something different because they were able to see the cameras outside the courthouse. So in this case, if the same thing happened, but there was reversals over the races, I would say the exact same thing that I said so far. There would be no difference. I don't care about the race at all. The rest, that's totally irrelevant. I played the video earlier of the white guy pulling the gun on the black kid in the store for messing with him, and I approve of that. My only issue is I don't like people harassing people in public. I don't like them starting confrontations, and I don't care what color they are.
Well, it's fair enough, but I mean, quite frankly, nowadays people are offended by everything, especially anything racial or trans or anything else like that.
It's not even about the. It's not even about the. Hold on. It's not about the racial stuff, though. It's what I want you to understand. It's not about the racial stuff. I don't care what words you say. That's not even important. What he said is unimportant. What's important is you start saying confrontation. That's the only issue. It's not about the word. It's not about the race. It's not about nothing like that. Say whatever you want to say, but the problem is when you try to start confrontations for the purpose of trying to get some money or any purpose, don't start things with strangers. Don't confront strangers. Leave people alone.
I get that. I don't think that that's what he's trying to do. I think what he's doing is, you know, those like open carry walks where they'll carry like an AR-15 through the town without hurting anyone, just with the camera on or live streaming.
Okay,
I think he's doing a First Amendment walk and saying we can say whatever we want. Doesn't matter whose feelings we hurt. No one can hurt us for it. And we're auditing society on this, because if we don't exercise our right to freedom of speech, well, a right not exercised becomes a right lost. And then, you know, pretty soon they start outlawing this and outlawing that, like they did in Canada and England. And then you have to call them these pronouns and speak this way, and you can't speak that way, and so on and so forth. I don't think he's trying to hurt people or get people to hurt him. I think he's trying to get people to respect the First Amendment.
So do you think that harassing people is a way to protect First Amendment?
Harassing, no, but I don't think that's what he does. I think he talks to people, and some of them are like, hey, don't film me. I don't want to be on camera. And it's like, no, that's the First Amendment. You don't dictate to me whether or not I exercise my freedom of speech.
Okay, but see, the problem is you got somebody minding their business, and here you come with a camera streaming. I don't want to be part of what you got going on. I don't want to be part of that. And you refuse.
You're in
And
public.
listen.
Man.
No, see, listen, not listening. Not listening. Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm minding my business. I'm just chilling with myself or my family, whatever. Here you come with a camera, streaming, N-word this, N-word that. You're harassing me. Leave me alone. And you are fighting back. You are refusing to respect my wishes. That's called harassment, and you can't do that. If a fight starts from that, you cannot claim self-defense because you were the initial aggressor. You think that it's about being a freedom of speech absolutist or a freedom of speech auditor, but the person that you're doing this to, that you exercising your quote-unquote rights on, is being harassed. But you don't see that because you think that your primary objective is paramount when it's not. It's called harassment, and you can't do it, which is why he's in prison right now, or he's in jail right now, about to go to prison, and the other guy isn't. That's why.
But you're right. I don't see it as harassment because that has happened to me before in public. And I've live streamed when I make videos and stuff like that. And some people, give me dirty looks or whatever it is. But at the same time, I'm not going to be told that I have to forfeit my First Amendment right to their feelings. And, I don't think it's harassment. And I told them, I never told anyone to shut up or get the camera away from me. But if they did, I wouldn't say if I did and they refused to, I wouldn't say that they were harassing me. Well, and if it was bothering me, I'd call the police. I wouldn't go up to them and attack them. Now, as for this affidavit, did you attain it or did you just hear about this?
I've read it. It's on the news. It's on the newspaper, like the local news out there in Clarksville. Like it's
Can
available.
You please post the link on the description for tonight.
Well, I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now, but maybe in an update video, I'll provide that for you. But you can find it. It's very easy. But here's the thing, though, because I know I'm right up. I live in Tennessee. I got people that's right there in Clarksville. What I'm saying is, what I'm telling you right now is correct. Now, you may not think that it's harassment, but what you think is irrelevant when it comes to what the actual law says. This is what I'm trying to tell you. How you feel is fine. It's okay. You may be harassed by somebody and not take offense to it. You might not feel like it's harassment. That's just your feeling. That's just how you take it. But that does not mean that you are correct. That does not mean that what you feel should be the way that others feel. Feelings are subjective, but law is not. The law is black and white, and the law is not on Chud's side, which is why he's in. It's why he's in jail right now again.
Okay, I think that there is a bit of an interpretation for the law. I just don't think that what he did was intent to harass people. I think it was intent to make a point that no matter what your feelings are, the law is still freedom of speech. And I don't think that he, did anything illegal. Now, as far as beyond the affidavit, there's going to be, and this is a courthouse, there's going to be cameras in several different directions. And there was already that person who it looked like she worked there or something. She was up in a window and caught it on her cell phone when they were like breaking them apart. It was on the World Watch. I saw it last night. And he somehow a bullet, I think, went through his bicep or something like that. But I'm curious to see about what the video cameras are going to show. Because, I mean, you and I, we both carry guns on us, and we've had to deal with confrontations. Lethal force, whether you own a gun or not, is always a last resort. So if someone comes up to you and throws punches. There was a guy that did this, what's it called? I don't remember. I think it was in Philly or something like that, where the black guy shoved him down, and when he hit the ground, he pulled out his gun and shot him and claim self-defense. Like, nah, you can't do that. So, I mean, with me, I would always use force. And then at the point where I feel like I'm about to be knocked out, or there are two of them, or they pull a weapon or something where I'm going to be seriously injured or dead if I don't use the weapon, then I will. And I'll probably, try and create distance and give them a warning and say, I'm going to shoot you if you don't stop. But I'm not going to go right to that. So, always use other force first and, that last. If he went straight to lethal, I'd say he was wrong. But I don't think that what he did was trying to get people to fight him or to get people to give him an excuse to shoot him. I think he was trying to get people to respect human rights to say whatever you want. Not
Okay.
just black people to say that word,
Okay.
but everyone to say the same words.
Okay, but check it out though. But see, one of his did you see that tweet that he put out saying that the way this series is going to end with a dead chimp on the pavement and you monkeys rioting when I get set free? Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I heard about the other one that the black guy said, like, we're going to do this. It's going to end this way. And it was a, what's it called? A post on his social media. And that guy was previously arrested for, I think he attacked his mom with a screwdriver or something because he's got a history of violence. And there was a discrepancy between that guy with that name and some other black guy with that name that was like a military veteran, and they didn't know who's who, or it was purposely disinformation.
Okay,
sure.
so
a while before we get all the facts.
So,
right?
so the answer to the question is you didn't see that tweet. So that's what I'm saying. See, you saying that you don't think that he did that for a particular purpose, trying to incite things, but his own tweet said something different, and that will be used against him. Again, they did a preliminary investigation. They had them both in custody at one point. They had the guy that Chud shot and also Chud in custody, the police out there in Clarksville. They let the one guy go and they did not let Chud go. And they threw the book at Chud for a reason, because what I'm telling you is correct. He's going to go to prison. And the other guy won't, because Chud's in.
Hold on. I thought this
because
was
hold on. I'm almost done. Because Chud is in the wrong here. It's very simple. It's an open and shut case, and you're going to see. Go ahead.
I thought this was Nashville, not Clarksville.
No, it was in Clarksville. The incident that the shooting happened was in Clarksville.
But he lives in Nashville?
Lives in Clarksville.
Okay, because I was told that this is in Nashville, Tennessee.
There was another incident in Nashville. Okay, so let's clear that up. So what happened just over the weekend, he was in Nashville in the Airbnb doing this streaming thing out there where he would harass people. He was at the restaurant harassing people, and they told him to leave. And that's when the whole thing happened with the appetizers or whatever you wanted to say. Now, right when that happened, the FBI happened to be there. Imagine that. Not for the tab, but because they already were watching him because they knew where this was going to go. And they told him, according to his own words, that, hey, if you don't chill out, either you're going to get hurt or somebody else is going to get hurt. After that, he goes home to Clarksville, and he was about to go to court for some financial things, some debt that he owed, like $3,000 that he owed. Outside the courthouse is when this incident happens in Clarksville, Montgomery County. Nashville is in Davidson County. If you look it up, it'll say Montgomery County, Clarksville, where this incident happened, outside the courthouse, not in Davidson, which is Nashville.
Okay, I thought he went to court because of that restaurant thing where they kicked him out and he didn't pay like $371.
That was Davidson. That was Nashville. That was on the weekend. That was before this. You see, he was already out on bond for that for $5,000. Then he does this. He's in trouble again. He's a jailbird. You see what I'm saying? He has he has other prior incidents, and he's been getting in trouble a lot lately. The Nashville thing and this thing were two separate situations. One was at the restaurant, and then one was outside the courthouse.
Okay. Well, I called up with what I have. I didn't have as much information as you have. Now, if what you're saying is true and he had intent to do this, then he had intent. Then you're right. I think it's going to be a while before all the facts come out. And this is going to be one of those cases where it's halfway between self-defense and freedom of speech. And then there's that other end where it's like, was he trying to lean it this way or that way? So it's going to be one of those interesting cases. There might even be a case precedent that's set by this.
No, it's open and shut. Really, you're gonna see it's open and shut. It's not nothing to it. That's why they threw the book at him. If it was any kind of ambiguity, then they both be in custody, but they're not. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, maybe I'll call you after the whole thing's done. See you later, man.
All right, now. All right, there we go. Hopefully, my man listening to me and was able to. Hopefully, that was able to sink into his head. Had him on for a long time just to kind of make it sink into his head. What I'm telling you here is correct. And I live out here in Tennessee. I'm a Tennessee resident. I've been here since 2017. I know the laws. I know the way things work. If you got Montgomery County, they throw the book at you like that, and the other guy got sent away. The other guy's black. So, Clarksville is not far from Paducah, Kentucky, the home of the Klan. Like, if you're thinking about racist parts of the country, you got that here. But it's not about race. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And you're going to see. Guys will see if there's any doubts, they're going to see once this whole thing plays out. Okay. I give you all a little bit extra time because I was not here on Tuesday, but that'll be a wrap for me. It's way past my bedtime. I got to get a little beauty sleep, beauty rest. But shout out to you guys again for rocking and rolling. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I'll be back live again on the Instagrams on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So right around right now, 11 or so Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back Wednesday on YouTube streaming live as well. 8 p.m. Eastern to right around right now, 11 p.m. or so Eastern Standard Time. But again, that will be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Did I say Tuesday or Wednesday, Buster 5? Tuesday on Instagram, Wednesday here, and Saturday as well here, streaming on the YouTube. And I try to be around all the time, putting on pre-recorded content. Uncle ABL is back. I'm starting with shorts. Then I'm going to do longs that kind of coincide with the shorts. But I got 2 shorts up right now. I got one about just a random video I saw and one about Cheyenne Bryant, if you're interested in that story. Over on Uncle ABL, check it out. You guys have been great. Did I get all my super chats? I think that I did. Let me just make sure. Let me just double check right quick. I got one more right here. Thank you to Michael Critchlow says, did Charlie Kirk speak at the Blexit event in Richmond where I met you back in 2019? Was Charlie there? I don't think Charlie was there. I know Candace was there, but I don't think Charlie was there. He might have been though, but I can't really remember. Shout out to you. That was definitely a time. We got to try to bring those events back, man. We got to find some people that got some monions and get this stuff off the ground because it's expensive. You know, Charlie, man, RIP to Charlie. That was my dude, man. He really brought all of us together. For years, he did that. I mean, he was a force. Like, Charlie could have been the president one day, for sure. You know, I like Bit Marco and everybody, but Charlie could have been the president for real. He was very effective for what he did. He was a hard worker. He was relentless. He was a big brain, super genius, intelligent. He was the best. So RIP to my man, Charlie. And shout out to you guys that I've met out there over the years. I met quite a bit of y'all in a lot of different places all over the country. So shout out to you guys. All right. But thank you for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do. You know, I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. But that'll be a wrap for me. Oh, you also listening to the audio streaming podcast or a audio streaming podcast. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Alrighty. So that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. Make sure I got everything I wanted to get. Okay, we got a UFC. Is that tonight? I think Ronda Rousey. Didn't Ronda Rousey win already? I don't know what happened. I don't want to be a spoiler, but yeah, Ronda Rousey. I like Carreno because I think she's like conservative, right? But nah, give me Ronda Rousey all day long. Yeah. Shout out to Ronda Rousey. But if either one wins, I'm cool with that. I'm definitely happy with that. All right. So that'll be a wrap. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.